Welcome back, my brave listeners. Tonight, I invite you to take a journey with me through the golden state of California, a place known for its sunny beaches, star-studded streets, and breathtaking coastlines. But lurking just beyond the sunshine lies a darker truth. California is also home to some of the most terrifying haunted hotels in America. These are not simply places to rest your head after a long day. No, these walls remember everything. From tragic deaths to restless spirits. From ghostly whispers to apparitions that roam the halls. Each hotel carries a past that refuses to be forgotten. So tonight, I'll guide you through the 25 most haunted hotels in California that you should never, ever stay in. If you dare to listen until the end, consider yourself warned, because some of these stories are said to follow you home. Dim the lights, close your doors, and keep your blanket close. Let's begin. The Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel in Los Angeles is a place that perfectly embodies the duality of Hollywood itself. On the surface, it is dazzling, glamorous, and filled with history. Built in 1927, the hotel quickly became the stomping grounds for the rich and famous during the golden age of film. It has hosted countless stars, legendary parties, and was even the site of the very first Academy Awards in 1929. Its Spanish colonial, revival style and art, Deco interiors exude elegant, drawing guests from all over the world who want to walk in the footsteps of movie royalty. But beneath the glittering facade lies something far darker, an unsettling collection of ghost stories and paranormal experiences that suggest some of Hollywood's brightest stars never truly checked out. The most famous spirit tied to the Roosevelt is none other than Marilyn Monroe. During her early career, Marilyn lived at the hotel for 2 years, residing in Suite 1200. The room itself became a kind of sanctuary for her, as she rose from a struggling actress to a worldwide icon. Though she eventually left the hotel, many believe her spirit still lingers. For years, guests have reported sightings of her ghostly figure in the hotel's hallways, most often near her old suite. But the most chilling detail involves a mirror that once hung in her room. When it was relocated to another part of the hotel, people claimed to see Marilyn's reflection in it even when the room itself was empty. One guest described glancing into the glass, only to find a blonde woman smiling back at her. When she turned around, no one was there. That mirror has since been removed from public display, but the legend of Marilyn's presence has never faded. She is not the only celebrity spirit said to haunt the Roosevelt. Another well-known ghost is Montgomery Clift, the acclaimed actor who starred in classics such as From Here to Eternity. During the height of his career, Clift stayed at the hotel while filming nearby. He was known for his intense dedication to his craft, and according to numerous accounts, that passion has lingered long after his death. Guests who stay near room 928 often report strange noises, the sound of pacing footsteps, the muffled hum of someone rehearsing lines, or the sensation of being watched. Some have claimed to hear the faint notes of a trumpet drifting down the hallway, as Clift was known to practice music during his stays. The eerie part is that the sounds usually occur late at night, when no one else is around. One shaken guest swore she awoke to see the silhouette of a man standing near her bed, whispering lines from a script. When she blinked, the figure vanished. But the hauntings at the Roosevelt aren't limited to famous faces. Countless guests and staff have experienced paranormal activity throughout the building. Cold spots, unexplained drafts, and flickering lights are common reports. Elevators are known to stop on random floors, even when no buttons have been pressed. Some employees refuse to enter certain areas of the hotel alone after dark, citing the overwhelming feeling of being followed. There are even stories of disembodied laughter and whispers echoing in empty ballrooms. The grand architecture and luxurious design seem only to heighten the sense of eeriness, as if the ghosts are performing for an invisible audience. One of the hotel's most mysterious spaces is the Blossom Ballroom, where the first Academy Award ceremony took place. While the event lasted just 15 minutes back in 1929, the room's legacy is eternal. Yet it is also said to be haunted. Guests walking past the ballroom at night have reported hearing the faint sounds of music and applause, as though a phantom ceremony continues to this day. Some claim to have seen figures dressed in old-fashioned tuxedos and gowns, mingling like partygoers from another era. These fleeting visions dissolve when approached, leaving behind only silence and a lingering chill. The poolside cabanas are another hotspot for ghostly encounters. Visitors sometimes see shadowy figures lounging near the water or walking by the pool at odd hours. A few have even reported conversations that seem to come from nowhere, soft voices carried on the night air, impossible to trace. Others tell of sudden gusts of cold wind cutting across the warm Los Angeles night, enough to raise goosebumps on the skin. While skeptics dismiss the Roosevelt's haunted reputation as imagination or the power of suggestion, the sheer number of stories collected over the decades makes it hard to ignore. Paranormal investigators have conducted sessions in the hotel, capturing strange electronic voice phenomena and unexplained movements on their equipment. Some have even described a heavy, almost magnetic energy in the building, especially near the areas tied to Monroe and Clift. The haunting of the Hollywood Roosevelt has become as much a part of its identity as its glamorous history. Visitors arrive, hoping to see the star-studded echoes of old Hollywood. But many leave with stories of encounters they cannot explain. For some, these experiences are thrilling, a chance to brush shoulders with legends even beyond the grave. For others, they are terrifying reminders that the past never truly dies. The Roosevelt continues to operate as one of Los Angeles's most famous hotels, blending luxury with mystery. Tourists book rooms without realizing the ghost stories attached, only to check out with chilling tales of their own. Whether it's Marilyn's lingering beauty, Cliff's relentless rehearsals, or the whispers of nameless guests long gone, the Hollywood Roosevelt stands as a reminder that even in a city built on dreams, there are shadows that refuse to fade. The Queen Mary, docked in Long Beach, California, is one of the most famous haunted locations in the United States, known as the Gray Ghost. During its years as a military ship in World War II, the Queen Mary has a long and storied past, one filled with luxury, tragedy, and countless tales of paranormal activity. What began as a symbol of elegance in ocean travel in the 1930s has transformed into one of the most chilling hotels in the world. Guests who arrive for a night aboard the ship often find themselves face to face with spirits who never left. Launched in 1936 by the Cunard Line, the Queen Mary was built to embody power and sophistication, rivaling any ship afloat at the time. It carried celebrities, dignitaries, and wealthy passengers across the Atlantic, offering unrivaled luxury. But when World War II broke out, the ship's life changed dramatically. Painted in dull gray to avoid detection, it became a troop ship, ferrying soldiers to war. It was during these years that the vessel earned its grim nickname, the Gray Ghost. Stories tell of lives lost in accidents aboard, soldiers who never returned home, and even one tragic collision that took hundreds of lives. Many believe it is this history of sorrow and loss that has left the ship crawling with restless spirits. Today, the Queen Mary is permanently moored and serves as a floating hotel and tourist attraction. Guests arrive to experience the glamour of a bygone era, but what they often find instead are encounters that defy explanation. Paranormal activity is reported all over the ship, but no place is as infamous as room B340. B340 has gained international notoriety as one of the most haunted hotel rooms in the world. The stories told by those who dared to stay there are unsettling. Guests have woken in the dead of night to see shadowy figures standing silently at the foot of the bed. Others have felt unseen hands tugging the blankets away from their bodies. Faucets in the bathroom are known to turn on by themselves, filling the sink or tub with icy water. The atmosphere is heavy, oppressive, as though the air itself presses down on anyone who enters. For years, the room was sealed off entirely, deemed too dangerous for overnight stays. When it was reopened, guests continued to flee in terror, unable to last a full night. But B340 is only one part of the Queen Mary's haunted reputation. The ship's first-class swimming pool, now drained and closed to the public, is another hotspot for ghostly encounters. Visitors and staff alike have reported hearing the sound of splashing water and the laughter of children, even though the pool has been dry for decades. Some claim to have seen the apparition of a young girl in a bathing suit standing near the pool's edge, vanishing the moment anyone looks directly at her. Others hear the click of footsteps echoing through the tiled chamber, the sound bouncing against the walls long after the room is empty. Another chilling tale centers on the ship's engine room. During its active years, an engineer was tragically crushed by a watertight door during a routine drill. To this day, people report hearing his screams in the lower decks, accompanied by the sharp clang of metal. Some visitors describe feeling an icy gust of wind and sensing a presence watching them from the shadows. A few even claim to see the ghostly figure of a man in greasy overalls, lingering near the doorway where the accident occurred. The Queen Mary's decks themselves also seem alive with strange activity. Guests walking late at night often hear footsteps approaching from behind, only to turn around and find no one there. Whispers drift through the corridors, soft and indistinct, like soldiers giving orders in hushed tones. Some report the sound of marching boots echoing across the wooden floors, as though troops are still boarding for war. In certain cabins, guests feel a sudden drop in temperature, the air becoming so cold that their breath fogs. Lights flicker, doors slam shut, and objects move without explanation. One guest described being jolted awake by the sensation of someone sitting on her chest, pressing the air from her lungs. When she opened her eyes, she saw a dark figure looming over her before it dissolved into the shadows. What makes the Queen Mary so unnerving is not just the sheer number of ghost stories, but the consistency of the accounts. From the staff who work aboard the ship to paranormal investigators who spend hours documenting phenomena, there is a shared belief that the vessel is a hotspot for supernatural activity. Ghost tours regularly explore the most active areas, and even the skeptics admit that something about the Queen Mary feels different in energy, a weight, a lingering sorrow. Some theorize that the ship itself acts as a vessel for spirits, holding on to the tragedies of its past. Its steel hull and massive size are said to trap energy, replaying moments of trauma like a recording on an endless loop. Others believe the countless deaths associated with its wartime service created a permanent stain, a reminder that not all passengers ever made it safely to shore. Whatever the explanation, the Queen Mary has earned its reputation as one of the most haunted hotels in California. Guests who book a night may come for the novelty of staying aboard a historic ocean liner, but many leave with stories that keep them awake for years. The ship that once carried Hollywood stars, royalty, and soldiers across the Atlantic now carries a different kind of passenger, one that cannot be seen, but can certainly be felt. The Queen Mary is more than just a relic of history. It is a place where the past and present blur together, where the line between the living and the dead seems paper-thin. Visitors arrive expecting a night of elegance, but for some, they instead find themselves staring into the shadows, wondering who or what still walks the decks of the Gray Ghost. The Hotel del Coronado in San Diego is one of the most iconic seaside resorts in the United States. Opened in 1888, this grand Victorian-style structure was designed to be a luxurious getaway, offering guests panoramic ocean views, fresh sea breezes, and the promise of escape from the bustle of city life. Over the years, it has hosted presidents, royalty, and countless Hollywood stars. Its striking red roof and bright white facade have made it a landmark that appears in films, postcards, and travel guides. But beneath the glamour and history lies a darker tale, one that has forever linked the hotel with tragedy and the paranormal. At the heart of this haunting is the story of a woman named Kate Morgan. In November of 1892, Kate Morgan checked into the Hotel del Coronado under a false name. She was young, beautiful, and by all accounts troubled. Kate told staff that she was waiting for a gentleman who never arrived. For 5 long days, she roamed the hotel and its grounds, often seen gazing out toward the ocean as though searching for something just out of reach. Guests described her as melancholy and distracted, a woman burdened by secrets. The circumstances surrounding her death only deepened the mystery. While it was officially ruled a suicide, questions arose almost immediately. Some speculated that foul play was involved, while others believed she had been abandoned by a lover and could no longer bear the heartbreak. The unanswered questions lingered, and with them came the stories of her spirit refusing to rest. Room 3327, the room where Kate Morgan stayed, is now one of the most requested and feared rooms in the hotel. Guests who spend the night there often report strange phenomena that defy explanation. Lights flicker on and off, even when the switches are untouched. The room grows unnaturally cold, a chill that sinks into the skin, no matter how warm the California sun is outside. Many visitors have heard the sound of soft weeping in the dead of night, a sorrowful cry that seems to come from the very walls themselves. Some wake to find their belongings moved from where they had been left, drawers open, or suitcases unzipped. Others claim that the television or radio turns on by itself, as though unseen hands are desperate for attention. Housekeepers are among the most frequent witnesses of strange occurrences. Some refuse to work alone in room 3327, believing that Kate's restless spirit follows them as they tidy. Shadows are seen moving across the walls when the room is empty, and maids have described a feeling of being watched by unseen eyes. One attendant once fled in terror after feeling a cold hand brush her arm, though no one else was in the room. Even veteran staff members, who have worked at the hotel for decades, admit there is something undeniably different about Kate's room. But the hauntings are not confined to just one space. Guests have reported seeing a woman in period clothing wandering the hallways of the hotel, believed to be Kate Morgan herself. She has been seen drifting near the grand staircase, walking along the verandas, or even gazing out to sea on moonlit nights. Witnesses describe her as beautiful but sad, with a faraway look in her eyes. Often, she disappears before anyone can approach her. Some visitors claim to feel a sudden rush of cold air moments before catching sight of her, a chilling sign that the ghostly presence is near. The paranormal activity at the Hotel del Coronado has been so well documented that it has attracted ghost hunters, writers, and paranormal investigators from around the world. Many bring cameras, voice recorders, and thermal imaging devices, hoping to capture evidence of Kate's spirit. Some investigators claim to have recorded unexplained voices, including faint female whispers and sobs. Others have captured strange orbs of light floating across the room, or temperature readings that fluctuate wildly without explanation. Despite the eerie accounts, the legend of Kate Morgan has become inseparable from the identity of the hotel. Some visitors book room 3327 not in fear, but in fascination, hoping for a brush with the paranormal. Couples on romantic getaways sometimes request the room, drawn to the idea of spending a night with history and, perhaps with a ghost. Yet, while some leave with nothing but a story to tell, others check out early, unable to shake the sense that they are sharing the space with something beyond the living. What makes the story of Kate Morgan so compelling is not just the ghostly activity, but the lingering humanity in it. Hers is not the tale of a violent or angry spirit, but rather of sorrow, heartbreak, and longing. The weeping in the night, the wandering figure on the beach, the restless movement of objects in her room, all of it seems to point to a spirit unable to find peace. Whether she died by her own hand or was the victim of darker circumstances, her soul appears to remain tied to the Hotel del Coronado, bound to the place where her life so abruptly ended. For more than a century, guests and staff alike have carried her story forward, ensuring that the legend of the beautiful stranger never fades. The hotel, for all its grandeur and luxury, will always be shadowed by her presence. Each flicker of light, each echo of weeping, each phantom figure on the stairs serves as a reminder that some guests never check out. The Hotel del Coronado remains one of California's most beloved landmarks, celebrated for its beauty and history. Yet for those who know the story of Kate Morgan, it is also a place where the boundary between life and death is perilously thin. Those who walk its halls after dark may find themselves looking over their shoulders, wondering if the beautiful stranger is still searching for the man who never arrived. The Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles is a name that has become synonymous with darkness, tragedy, and mystery. Built in 1924, the Cecil was intended to be a glamorous addition to downtown Los Angeles. With over 700 rooms and a grand design, It was marketed as a place of sophistication for business travelers and tourists. But as the decades passed, the hotel's fortunes shifted. The Great Depression, the decline of the surrounding neighborhood, and a wave of crime and poverty turned the Cecil into something far more sinister. Its once proud reputation eroded, replaced with whispers of despair, violence, and the paranormal. Today, even with rebranding attempts under names like Stay on Main, the shadow of the Cecil Hotel's past refuses to fade. The hotel has become infamous for the sheer number of deaths and tragedies that have taken place within its walls. Suicides, overdoses, murders, and unexplained accidents have plagued the building since the early 20th century. By some counts, the Cecil has been the site of dozens of deaths, earning it the reputation of one of the most cursed buildings in Los Angeles. What makes it even more unsettling is the nature of some of its residents. Infamously, to serial killers Richard Ramirez, known as the Night Stalker, and Jack Underwood both lived at the Cecil during their killing sprees. Ramirez, in particular, was said to return to the hotel after his gruesome crimes, walking through the lobby, still stained with the evidence of his violence, undisturbed by anyone who might have noticed. The walls of the Cecil have absorbed decades of horror, and many believe that the energy of so much suffering lingers still. Paranormal activity is a common thread among those who dare to stay at the Cecil. Guests and staff describe a sense of unease the moment they step inside. The air feels heavy, oppressive, as if the building itself is watching. Elevators have long been a focus of strange events. Many people have reported them moving on their own, stopping at random floors where no one is waiting. Doors open and close without reason, and sometimes the elevators refuse to respond at all, trapping passengers inside for long minutes before suddenly resuming normal function. One of the most infamous pieces of footage ever recorded at the Cecil involves an elevator. In 2013, security cameras captured the strange behavior of a young woman named Eliza Lamb. The video shows her stepping into the elevator, pressing multiple buttons, and behaving in a manner that baffled viewers. She peeks into the hallway repeatedly, hides in the corner as if afraid, and gestures as though speaking to someone unseen. At times, her movements are erratic, her hands twisting in ways that seem almost unnatural. The elevator doors remain open far longer than normal, defying their mechanical programming. Moments later, Eliza disappears from the camera's view. Days afterward, her body was discovered in the hotel's rooftop water tank, her death ruled accidental. But to this day, many question what the video truly shows. Was she hiding from someone, experiencing a mental health crisis, or was something paranormal at play, something invisible that terrified her into erratic behavior? Her death added a chilling new layer to the Cecil's reputation, sparking theories and ghost stories that persist to this day. Guests who stayed in the hotel after the incident claimed to hear unexplained footsteps in the hallways and whispers outside their doors. Some reported feeling watched when using the elevators, as though someone unseen stood just behind them. Others described water from the taps running discolored, an eerie reminder of the tank where Eliza was found. The upper floors and the rooftop are particularly associated with the hotel's ghostly lore. Security guards and maintenance staff have spoken of cold spots, doors that slam on their own, and the distinct feeling of being followed. In some cases, people have seen shadow figures lurking near stairwells or moving quickly out of sight. The rooftop, where Eliza Lamb's tragic story ended, has become a place of fascination and dread. Some visitors report hearing faint voices carried by the wind, or seeing fleeting shapes out of the corner of their eye when they look toward the water tanks. Even before Elisa's case, the Cecil was already haunted in the eyes of many. Guests have described waking in the night to see shadowy forms standing at the foot of their beds. Disembodied screams and cries have been reported echoing through the halls, especially during the quiet hours before dawn. Lights flicker despite modern rewiring, and the elevators continue to misbehave with eerie consistency. Paranormal investigators who have visited the hotel often leave with chilling recordings of electronic voice phenomena that seem to capture words like help or leave whispered in faint, ghostly tones. The location of the Cecil also contributes to its grim energy. Situated near Skid Row, one of the most troubled neighborhoods in Los Angeles, the hotel became a refuge for society's forgotten, those struggling with poverty, addiction, and despair. For decades, it served as a place where people went to disappear. The sheer concentration of misery within its walls has led many to suggest that the hotel acts like a magnet for darkness, drawing troubled souls and feeding on their despair. Despite numerous attempts to rebrand and rehabilitate its image, the Cecil Hotel's reputation remains tied to its haunted past. The building itself has become almost mythic, a symbol of Los Angeles's darker underbelly. Tourists, ghost hunters, and true crime enthusiasts still flock to its doors, drawn by the combination of history, tragedy, and the possibility of encountering something unexplainable. To this day, stories continue to emerge. Guests checking into the few rooms still occasionally available report uneasy nights filled with strange sounds and sensations. Some awaken to find their belongings moved, others to the overwhelming sense of dread pressing down on them as they lie in bed. For many, the Cecil is not just a hotel, it is a living relic of tragedy, carrying the energy of everyone who suffered within its walls. The Cecil Hotel is more than bricks and mortar. It is a monument to sorrow, a place where the tragedies of decades past seem to echo endlessly. From its infamous guests to its unexplained deaths, from elevators that move of their own accord to the lingering shadow of Eliza Lamb, the Cecil refuses to let its reputation rest. For those who dare to step inside, it offers not just a night's stay, but a brush with something far darker, an encounter with the ghosts of Los Angeles that will never be forgotten. The Ahwahnee Hotel in Yosemite National Park is a masterpiece of architecture, designed to blend seamlessly with the surrounding majesty of nature. Since its opening in 1927, it has been celebrated for its rustic elegance, grand stone fireplaces, and sweeping views of granite cliffs and towering pines. Presidents, royalty, and Hollywood stars have walked its halls, and countless visitors have come to bask in its beauty. Yet, behind the charm and refinement lies another reputation, one that whispers of shadows, restless spirits, and unexplainable encounters that leave guests unsettled long after they leave. The Ahwahnee, now officially known as the majestic Yosemite Hotel, was envisioned as a luxurious escape into the wilderness, a place where the grandeur of nature could be matched by human design. But Yosemite has always been a place of deep history, both human and spiritual. Long before the hotel was constructed, the land was home to Native American tribes who considered the valley sacred. Stories passed down through generations speak of spirits that inhabit the cliffs, forests, and rivers. Many believe that the energy of those who lived, died, and fought to protect this land still lingers. It is this sense of sacredness, some say even disturbance, that may explain why the Ahwahnee has gained a reputation for being haunted. One of the most chilling reports comes from guests who awake in the middle of the night to find ghostly figures standing at the foot of their beds. These apparitions are often described as silent, pale, and dressed in clothing from earlier decades. For many, the moment is paralyzing. Some scream, only to watch the figures vanish instantly, dissolving into the air as though they had never been there. Others lie frozen, too afraid to move, waiting for the vision to pass. By morning, there is no trace of what they saw, save for the lingering fear that grips them whenever they recall the experience. Staff members have their own tales, passed quietly among themselves, spoken of with caution so as not to alarm guests. Housekeepers, in particular, claim to feel watched while working alone in certain hallways. They describe sudden chills sweeping over them, or hearing faint footsteps echoing behind them when no one is there. Some employees refuse to go into certain rooms alone, citing feelings of oppression or a heavy presence that seems to push down on them. The grand dining room, so beautiful and inviting during the day, transforms into something else entirely once the doors are closed and the lights dim. Several staff members tell of a woman dressed in 1930s clothing who is seen wandering the dining room long after closing. She is described as wearing an elegant gown, her hair styled in the fashion of the era, drifting slowly between the tables as if searching for someone. At times, She appears almost solid, as though she were simply another guest who had overstayed her welcome. But when approached, she fades into nothingness, leaving only an icy chill in the air. Some believe she may be the spirit of a socialite who frequented the hotel during its heyday. Perhaps someone who died tragically before her final evening here could be enjoyed. There are also stories of strange sounds that echo through the halls. Guests have reported the faint sound of music, as if from a long-forgotten ballroom dance, drifting through the corridors late at night. Others claim to hear voices whispering, laughter, or even the clinking of glasses, though the hotel is quiet and empty. On rare occasions, visitors describe the scent of old-fashioned perfume lingering in the air, or the faint smell of smoke from long-extinguished fireplaces. These sensory details add to the eerie suggestion that the past is still alive in the Ahwahnee, replaying itself in fragments that cross into the present. One particularly unsettling account involves a guest who awoke to see a man sitting in the armchair of their room. The man was dressed in old-fashioned hiking attire, complete with boots and a hat, his face obscured by shadow. The guest, startled, sat up in bed, only to watch the figure rise and walk silently toward the door. The door never opened, yet the man passed through it and vanished. Shaken, the guest later asked the staff if anyone had access to their room, but no explanation could be given. Some paranormal investigators who have studied the Ahwahnee believe the spirits may be tied not only to the hotel itself, but to the land it was built upon. Yosemite's cliffs and forests have witnessed countless accidents, falls, and tragedies over the centuries. Hikers who never returned, workers who died during the hotel's construction, and even visitors who succumbed to sudden illness all may have left imprints on the area. The hotel, with its welcoming grandeur, may act as a magnet for those lingering energies, drawing them into its walls. Even the design of the Ahwahnee lends itself to ghostly imagination, with its massive stonework, towering beams, and dimly lit corridors. It feels timeless, as though it exists in both past and present. Shadows pool in the corners, fireplaces crackle with eerie echoes, and the vast scale of the place can make even a crowded room feel strangely hollow. Guests often comment on the uneasy sensation of being watched, particularly in the hallways leading to the guest rooms. Despite its ghostly reputation, the Ahwahnee continues to welcome visitors from around the world. Many come for the stunning views of Half Dome and Glacier Point, or to experience the luxury of staying in one of the nation's most iconic national park lodges. Yet, for those who encounter something beyond the ordinary, the experience leaves a lasting mark. They leave Yosemite with more than just memories of natural beauty. They carry with them the chilling reminder that even in the most breathtaking places, shadows can linger. The Ahwahnee Hotel remains a jewel of Yosemite, admired for its beauty and its history. But beneath its elegant facade lies a darker story, one woven from the whispers of the past. Whether it is the woman in the dining room, the silent figures at the bedside, or the phantom sounds of music and laughter, the hotel continues to blur the line between the living and the dead. For those who stay within its walls, the question is never just whether they will enjoy their visit, it is whether they will encounter the echoes of souls who never truly checked out. The Chateau Marmont in Los Angeles has long been a symbol of Hollywood glamour, a castle-like structure perched on the Sunset Strip that has welcomed actors, musicians, and cultural icons since it opened in 1929. Modeled after a French Gothic chateau, it was designed as a retreat for those who wanted to escape the chaos of Hollywood, while still being at its center. To the outside world, it is a place of luxury, secrecy, and allure. But for those who have stayed within its storied walls, the Chateau Marmont holds a darker reputation, one of tragedy, sorrow, and lingering spirits who refuse to leave. From the very beginning, the chateau seemed destined to attract stories, both glamorous and grim. Its reputation as a place of discretion drew in celebrities who wanted privacy for both their pleasures and their troubles. Affairs were hidden, scandals were softened, and stars could live freely in ways they couldn't in public. But that same privacy made it a stage for tragedy. Over the decades, several stars met their untimely ends within its walls, leaving behind an energy that guests and staff say can still be felt to this day. The most infamous case is that of comedian John Belushi, who died of a drug overdose in Bungalow 3 in 1982. His death shocked Hollywood and cemented the chateau's reputation as a place where dreams could just as easily wither as they could bloom. Many guests who stay near the bungalow claim to feel a heavy presence, as though the air itself thickens. Some have reported hearing faint laughter or the sound of someone pacing when no one is there. A few even claim to have seen Belushi himself, his ghostly figure appearing in fleeting glimpses before fading into the shadows. But Belushi is not the only spirit said to wander the chateau. Staff whisper about a woman in white who drifts silently through the hallways, vanishing when approached. Guests describe shadows flitting across the walls, even when the lighting makes such movements impossible. At night, whispers are heard behind closed doors, sometimes just beyond a guest's ear. When they turn to look, there is no one there. These sounds are so common that many staff members have come to accept them as simply part of working at the moment. One particularly chilling story comes from a woman who stayed in one of the suites. She awoke in the middle of the night to the sensation of someone sitting on the edge of her bed. When she opened her eyes, she saw the silhouette of a man, his form dark against the faint glow of the room. She screamed, and in that instant, the figure dissolved into nothing like smoke, curling into the air. The impression of weight on the mattress lingered for several moments before slowly fading away. Shaken, she checked out the next morning, unable to spend another night there. Others have reported objects moving on their own. Lights flicker inexplicably, even after being checked and repaired. Doors open just as someone reaches for the knob, as if unseen hands anticipate their actions. A few guests have described seeing the reflection of strangers in mirrors, people who are not physically present in the room. One musician, while staying at the chateau, claimed that he heard someone humming in the bathroom while he played guitar. When he stopped to investigate, the room was empty, yet the humming continued faintly for a few seconds before vanishing. The suffocating atmosphere of certain rooms is another detail often repeated. Guests describe an overwhelming heaviness pressing down on them, making it difficult to sleep. Some liken it to being buried under invisible weight, unable to move or breathe easily. This sensation has caused several guests to abruptly leave in the middle of the night, unwilling to endure the experience any longer. The hotel's staff, accustomed to unusual complaints, often avoid discussing these incidents directly but admit that certain rooms seem more active than others. The Chateau Marmont's reputation is also colored by its role as a sanctuary for troubled stars. In the decades following its opening, it became a haven for actors and artists spiraling under the pressures of fame. Tragic deaths, overdoses, and breakdowns that occurred there have left scars on its legacy. Some believe that the intense emotions of despair, addiction, and loss soaked into the walls, creating a kind of psychic imprint that continues to play itself out. There are also tales of playful spirits. A few guests have reported feeling their belongings mysteriously rearranged or hearing laughter in otherwise empty rooms. One story involves a guest who left her jewelry neatly on a dresser, only to return and find it laid out in a perfect circle on the bedspread. No one had entered the locked room, and the staff denied moving it. For some, these tricks add to the eerie charm of the chateau. For others, it is proof that the building is alive with something unseen. Even outside the guest rooms, the hotel's atmosphere lends itself to ghostly speculation. The Gothic architecture, with its stone walls and dramatic arches, casts long shadows in the evening. Dimly lit corridors seem to stretch endlessly, and the silence that hangs over the building at night can feel more unsettling than peaceful. Many say the chateau seems to hold its breath after dark, waiting for its hidden residents to stir. To this day, the Chateau Marmont remains an exclusive retreat where celebrities and artists come seeking both privacy and inspiration. But alongside the allure, its darker stories persist. Whispers of figures in the hall, sudden chills, objects that move without cause, and visions that vanish in an instant continue to be reported by those who dare to spend the night. For every guest who comes to enjoy its luxury, there is another who leaves convinced they encountered something unearthly. The Chateau Marmont embodies the duality of Hollywood itself, glittering beauty on the surface, with shadows lurking just beneath. Its legends, both tragic and paranormal, are woven into its history as tightly as the stars who once walked its halls. For those who enter, the experience is unforgettable. Some leave with fond memories of indulgence and secrecy, while others leave with the chilling certainty that the Chateau Marmont is home not only to celebrities of the present, but also to the restless spirits of the past. The Glen Tavern Inn in Santa Paula, California, is a building steeped in history, scandal, and stories that refuse to fade. Constructed in 1911, the inn was designed to serve as both a hotel and a social hub for the growing city. Over the decades, it became far more than a place to rest. It was a center for gambling, entertainment, and illicit activities. During the roaring 1920s and into the Prohibition era, the Glen Tavern Inn doubled as a brothel and a gambling den, a place where fortunes were won and lost, and where lives were sometimes taken in the heat of the moment. Today, the inn has been restored to a historic hotel, but visitors often report that the past is never truly gone. Shadows linger in the hallways, whispers echo behind closed doors, and some rooms carry the unmistakable weight of spirits that refuse to move on. One of the most persistent legends revolves around the apparition of a cowboy who met a tragic end at the inn. According to local lore, the man was shot dead during a heated card game in the hotel's former saloon. Since then, guests and staff alike have claimed to see him roaming the halls, dressed in old-fashioned Western attire. He is often seen standing near the lobby or pacing along the corridors. His movements slow and deliberate, as though searching for something he lost in life. Some report hearing the soft clink of coins or the shuffle of playing cards, sounds that appear without explanation, echoing from rooms where no one is playing. Those who encounter him often describe an overwhelming sense of sadness mixed with anger, as if the cowboy's spirit is trapped in an endless replay of that fateful night. Room 106 is another hotspot of paranormal activity, notorious among ghost hunters and curious visitors alike. Guests have reported seeing a dark, shadowy figure lurking in the corners, sometimes appearing to watch them as they move through the room. The presence is oppressive, creating a sensation of suffocating tension that leaves even seasoned paranormal investigators on edge. Some guests wake in the middle of the night to find the figure standing at the foot of their bed, and when they scream or turn on the lights, it vanishes without a trace. Personal items have been reported moving mysteriously in the room, bedsheets tossed aside, and doors opening or closing by themselves, as if the spirit is restless and unwilling to be ignored. Another frequent apparition is believed to be a woman who once worked in the inn's brothel. She has been seen walking through the hallways in period clothing, her expression somber and distant. Some guests report feeling a sudden chill when she passes, as though the temperature drops sharply in her presence. Housekeepers occasionally hear the soft sounds of heels clicking across the floorboards or muffled voices carrying through the empty hallways. One guest claimed to have seen her in the dining area late at night, standing by a table as though waiting for someone, only to vanish moments later when approached. Her presence is said to be less violent than that of the cowboy, but no less unsettling, a reminder of the many lives intertwined with the inn's darker history. The Glen Tavern Inn's main lobby and bar areas also have their share of ghostly phenomena. Patrons have reported the faint aroma of tobacco, smoke, and whiskey, even when no one has been drinking or smoking. Chairs are occasionally found in different positions than they were left, and glasses sometimes tip over for no apparent reason. Some visitors claim to hear laughter echoing from the walls or the faint melody of a piano playing in the dead of night. Though the instruments are long gone, it is as though the building itself holds on to the memories of revelry, heartbreak, and tragedy, replaying fragments of the past for anyone who dares to notice. Employees who work at the inn are quick to share stories of unexplained events. Lights flicker unexpectedly, faucets turn on with no one present, and cold spots appear in the most unlikely places. Some staff members insist that they have been followed by unseen presences while walking through the hallways, and others describe doors that open or close by themselves. These accounts, while sometimes met with skepticism by outsiders, are consistent and detailed, reinforcing the idea that the inn is more than just a historic building. It is a place where the boundary between the living and the dead is unusually thin. Local historians and paranormal investigators alike suggest that the Glen Tavern in its reputation stems not only from its dark past, but from the intensity of the emotions tied to it. The combination of violence, illicit activity, heartbreak, and death appears to have left an imprint on the building, an energy that persists despite decades of renovation and modernization. It is as though the inn itself remembers, replaying the echoes of its turbulent history for those sensitive enough to perceive them. The stories of the Glen Tavern Inn continue to attract visitors from across the country. Many come for the historic charm, the rustic architecture, and the sense of stepping back into early 20th century California. Others are drawn by the tales of hauntings, hoping for a brush with the unknown. Whether they experience something supernatural or simply leave with a sense of eerie curiosity, few forget the weight of history that hangs over the hallways and rooms. The inn today stands as a living museum of both California history and ghostly lore. It is a place where the glamour and danger of a bygone era intermingle, where the spirits of cowboys, women, and troubled souls are said to linger in quiet corners and shadowed corridors. Guests who stay there may find themselves brushing shoulders not just with history, but with the restless echoes of those who never truly left. The Glen Tavern Inn remains a unique blend of luxury, history, and the supernatural, a reminder that sometimes the past refuses to stay buried. Even as the inn welcomes modern travelers, it carries with it the whispers of its storied past. Shadows flit across hallways, voices echo from empty rooms, and unseen hands continue to move objects, just enough to remind visitors that the Glen Tavern Inn is alive in ways that go beyond the living. For those who venture through its doors, it is a place where history is tangible, mystery lingers in the air, and the spirits of Santa Paula's most colorful and tragic figures remain forever present. The Hotel Ledger in Malcolm Hill, California, stands as a relic of the gold rush era, its wooden beams and weathered facade a testament to a turbulent past. Established in 1851, it is one of the oldest operating hotels in the state, a place where history seems to hang in the air as tangibly as the scent of old timber and fading wallpaper. During the gold rush, Malcolm Hill was a booming mining town, and the Hotel Ledger was at its center, serving weary miners, prospectors, and travelers seeking refuge from the chaos of a frontier life. But alongside its history of prosperity lies a darker, Lagotia string of fires, gun, and personal tragedies that some believe have left the hotel haunted by restless spirits, including that of its founder, George Ledger himself. George Ledger was a man of ambition and determination, establishing the hotel as a hub of comfort and community amidst the rough-and-tumble environment of the gold rush. Over the years, however, the inn witnessed many tragic events. Fires swept through the town multiple times, some even threatening to engulf the hotel, and violent confrontations broke out in the saloon that once operated within its walls. The energy of loss, fear, and sudden death seemed to embed itself into the building, creating a foundation for the paranormal activity reported today. Guests and staff alike have recounted chilling encounters that suggest the past refuses to stay buried within the wooden walls of the Hotel Ledger. One of the most frequently reported spirits is that of George Ledger himself, described by witnesses as appearing in full-bodied form. He is often seen standing in the hallways or observing guests from the top of the staircase. Some claim that he watches silently, his expression unreadable, while others have reported more interactive experiences. A door opening at his approach, a soft nod, or even a sense of pressure, as if he is close enough to brush past. Those who have seen him describe a feeling of heavy presence, a weight that presses down on the chest and slows the breath. Paranormal investigators who have spent nights in the hotel often report sensing someone in the room, even when it is empty. And some say that George's spirit appears to linger, particularly near the office and common areas he once frequented. Other manifestations are less tangible but equally unnerving. Guests have described hearing footsteps pacing the floors above them in the dead of night, even when the hotel is silent and no one else is staying in the building. Some awaken to the sensation of cold hands brushing across their skin, leaving them shivering despite the warmth of summer nights. Shadows are seen moving across rooms or along hallways, often disappearing when approached. The atmosphere can shift in an instant, from the cozy warmth of a historic inn to a chilling sensation of being watched, suffocating in its intensity. Room 6, in particular, has garnered a reputation for activity. Those who stay there report doors opening or closing by themselves, lights flickering for no apparent reason, and objects moving just enough to suggest the presence of an unseen guest. A few have recounted waking in the middle of the night to find the room inexplicably cold, with a pressure on the bed, as if someone is standing beside them. The phenomena in Room 6 have been so consistent that many regular guests choose to avoid it, while thrill seekers come hoping for a direct encounter with the hotel's resident spirits. The saloon and dining area of the hotel are also reported to carry residual energy from the past. During the gold rush, these rooms saw gunfights, brawls, and moments of sudden death. Today, visitors have reported hearing the distant echo of raised voices, the clatter of chairs, and even the faint sound of gunfire, as though history is replaying itself in quiet loops. Some guests have noted fleeting glimpses of figures dressed in period clothing, standing near the bar, or walking down the hallways before vanishing. The presence is not always malevolent, but it leaves an indelible impression, a reminder that the hotel's walls have witnessed far more than simple hospitality. Staff members at the hotel ledger also attest to unusual occurrences. Lights may flicker or fail entirely in sections of the building without explanation. Cold drafts sweep through areas that should be warm, and items left in common rooms sometimes shift mysteriously. Employees describe the sensation of being watched, even when they are alone, and many avoid certain hallways after dark. These first-hand accounts reinforce the notion that the hotel is not merely haunted by rumor, but by a tangible presence, one tied deeply to the history of the building and its founder. Paranormal investigators have conducted extensive sessions in the hotel, capturing electronic voice phenomena, unexplained temperature fluctuations, and objects moving without explanation. Some claim to have recorded disembodied voices calling out names, or whispers in the corridors that seem to respond to conversation. Others have felt sudden pressure on their shoulders, footsteps behind them, or even glimpsed shadowy figures out of the corner of their eyes. The combination of historical significance, tragic events, and repeated reports from guests and staff alike has cemented the hotel ledger as one of California's most haunted hotels. Despite or perhaps because of its eerie reputation, the hotel ledger continues to welcome visitors. Many come for its historic charm and glimpse into Gold Rush-era California, while others are drawn by the possibility of encountering the supernatural. Some leave with nothing more than stories to tell, but others report experiences that haunt them long after their stay has ended. The hotel ledger is a living testament to California's storied past, a place where the echoes of history are palpable. Fires, gunfights, and tragedies have shaped not only the town of Mokelumne Hill, but the inn itself, leaving traces that remain visible only to those sensitive to the unseen. From the footsteps pacing in the dead of night, to the cold brush of ghostly hands, and the lingering presence of George Ledger himself, the hotel remains a portal to a bygone era. Guests who cross its threshold are often reminded that some spirits never leave, and some histories refuse to rest quietly within the pages of time. The Mission Inn Hotel and Spa in Riverside, California, is one of the most striking and historically significant hotels in the state. Its Spanish-style architecture, with ornate towers, colorful tilework, and grand archways, makes it a visual marvel. Since opening in the early 1900s, the hotel has hosted presidents, celebrities, and dignitaries, drawing visitors from across the world. But behind its stunning facades and luxurious rooms lies a darker story of history steeped in tragedy, mystery, and ghostly encounters that continue to unsettle guests to this day. The hotel was originally built in 1902 by Frank Miller, who envisioned a sprawling retreat where travelers could experience luxury combined with historical charm. Over the years, the Mission Inn expanded dramatically, growing into the sprawling complex that stands today, complete with multiple towers, a chapel, courtyards, and sprawling gardens. While it became a hub for celebrations, cultural events, and social gatherings, the Mission Inn also became the stage for numerous tragedies, accidents, and untimely deaths. These events have led many to believe that the hotel is haunted by spirits who never truly left, lingering within its halls and rooms. Perhaps the most famous of the hotel's spectral residents is the figure of a bride. Legend has it that she was a young woman whose wedding day ended in heartbreak and tragedy. Though the details vary in different accounts, the common thread is that she died before she could walk down the aisle. Since that day, guests have reported seeing a woman in a flowing wedding gown roaming the hallways, drifting silently from room to room. Some have seen her at the top of staircases, appearing almost translucent in the dim lighting. Others describe the sensation of her presence brushing past them, accompanied by a cold draft that chills the skin. Those who encounter her often feel an overwhelming sense of sadness, as though she carries the weight of her lost future wherever she goes. Another frequent source of paranormal activity is the chapel, a beautiful space with vaulted ceilings, ornate woodwork, and a grand organ. Guests and staff alike have reported hearing organ music late at night, long after the chapel has been locked and all events have ended. Sometimes the music is faint, a soft melody that drifts through the corridors, while at other times it seems louder, almost as if someone is rehearsing for a service that will never occur. Even those unfamiliar with musical instruments describe feeling a sense of reverence and melancholy, as if the music carries not just sound, but the emotions of those long gone. Cold spots and flickering lights are a recurring phenomenon throughout the Mission Inn. Certain wings of the hotel are especially active, where the air drops several degrees without warning, leaving guests shivering despite warm weather. Lights may dim or blink repeatedly, often in areas where no electrical issues are present. In some rooms, objects have been reported moving inexplicably. Chairs slide slightly, doors open or close, and personal items are found in places they were not left. These manifestations, while subtle, are enough to convince many visitors that something unseen is watching over them. Many staff members have their own stories of ghostly encounters. Housekeepers report hearing footsteps echoing down empty corridors, doors opening just as they approach, and the sensation of being watched when no one else is present. Some describe shadows passing across walls in rooms they have just cleaned, while others speak of feeling cold hands brushing their arms or shoulders. Even employees who have worked at the Mission Inn for decades admit that there are areas of the hotel where they feel uneasy, places where the air seems heavier, and the energy of the past more present. The Mission Inn's long history contributes to its reputation as a haunted location. Beyond the bride and the chapel, the hotel has been the site of countless personal tragedies and sudden deaths. Stories abound of guests and residents who passed away unexpectedly, accidents in stairwells, or illnesses that struck down visitors far from home. Each of these events seems to have left a mark, creating an environment where the past feels almost tangible. Paranormal investigators who have visited the hotel often record unexplained sounds, fluctuating temperatures, and fleeting shadows. Some even claim to have captured faint voices on audio recordings, whispers that seem to echo just beyond comprehension. Visitors who stay in the Mission Inn often speak of a sense of history alive in the building, but also of something more unsettling. Some awaken in the middle of the night to a heavy silence, broken only by distant whispers or footsteps. Others feel the touch of something unseen as they move through hallways or lie in bed. Even for those skeptical of the paranormal, the hotel has a way of creating a heightened awareness, a sense that the walls themselves remember the lives and tragedies that have passed through them. Despite its eerie reputation, the Mission Inn continues to operate as a luxurious hotel, welcoming travelers to experience its architecture, history, and charm. Yet for those attuned to the building's darker side, it offers more than just comfort and beauty. Staying overnight can feel like stepping into a living memory, where echoes of the past play alongside the present. Guests may find themselves glimpsing the bride's figure, hearing the organ's mournful notes, or sensing the lingering presence of spirits that have refused to leave. The Mission Inn Hotel and Spa remains one of California's most iconic and haunted hotels. Its rich history, combined with tales of spectral brides, ghostly organ music, and cold, flickering rooms, makes it a place where the past and present coexist in strange and unsettling ways. For those who wander its corridors after dark, the experience is unforgettable, a reminder that behind the beauty of the Mission Inn shadows linger, and the spirits of Riverside's history continue to roam. The Carey House Hotel in Placerville, California, is a landmark steeped in the dark and often violent history of California's gold rush era. Built in 1857, the hotel quickly became a centerpiece of the bustling mining town, offering travelers, prospectors, and settlers a place to eat, sleep, and escape the harsh realities of frontier life. Placerville, known at the time as Hangtown, due to its reputation for public executions and vigilante justice, was a town where fortunes were made and lives were lost with alarming frequency. The Carey House, positioned at the heart of this chaos, absorbed much of that energy, and today, its hallways and rooms seem to retain echoes of the town's bloody past. From the moment guests step into the Carey House, there is a sense that history lingers here in a tangible way. The hotel's classic architecture, high ceilings, and creaking wooden floors convey both elegance and age. Yet, alongside the charm, there is a pervasive feeling that the building itself remembers the many lives that have passed through it, and in some cases, those that never truly left. Visitors and staff alike report encounters with spirits that are unmistakably connected to the hotel's violent and tragic history. One of the most commonly reported phenomena is the presence of a phantom figure in the hallways. Guests describe sudden, unexplained pushes as they walk through corridors or ascend staircases. Some feel a pressure on their back, as though someone has made physical contact, only to turn around and find no one there. The sensation is often accompanied by a chill, a sudden drop in temperature that makes the hair on the back of the neck stand up. Those who have experienced it often report a lingering unease, as if the hotel itself is warning them of unseen observers. Another frequent apparition is a woman dressed in old-fashioned clothing, sometimes seen staring out the windows or walking slowly along the hallways. Witnesses describe her as ethereal and distant, with a sadness that permeates the air around her. Some believe she may have been a long-ago guest or resident, someone who died unexpectedly in the hotel or was caught in the hardships of life during the gold rush. Guests who see her often feel an immediate sense of melancholy and isolation, as though they are glimpsing a fragment of a life that ended too soon. Attempts to approach her usually fail. She disappears when noticed, leaving only an empty corridor or the echo of soft footsteps behind. Staff members are no strangers to the supernatural occurrences at the Carey House. They whisper about rooms where doors open and close by themselves. Lights flicker despite proper wiring, and furniture seems to shift slightly on its own. Housekeepers sometimes report feeling watched or catching movement out of the corner of their eye in empty hallways. There are stories of objects falling without cause, bed sheets pulled slightly, or personal items moved in ways that cannot be explained. Some employees believe that not all the hotel's residents are alive, and their quiet, spectral presence continues to inhabit the building alongside the living. Room 5 is often singled out as particularly active. Guests staying there report the feeling of being touched or nudged during the night, shadows moving across walls, and sudden, unexplained noises. One visitor claimed to have been awoken by the sensation of someone standing over them, only to open their eyes and find the room empty. Another described hearing whispers just beyond the bedroom door, voices that seemed familiar but impossible to identify. These experiences are unsettling enough to make even seasoned travelers wary of returning. The Carey House's haunted reputation is intertwined with Placerville's history of violence. In the mid-1800s, the town earned its moniker Hangtown after numerous public hangings, often carried out without formal trials. The hotel was both a witness and participant in the town's darker days, hosting miners, gamblers, and outlaws. Bloodshed, desperation, and sudden death were frequent companions to those who stayed there. Paranormal enthusiasts argue that the intense emotions, coupled with violent deaths, left an indelible imprint on the hotel, creating a space where the past continues to manifest in ghostly ways. Many visitors report that the strange activity is more pronounced late at night, when the hotel is quiet and the creaks and groans of the old building are more noticeable. Some hear the distant sound of voices, clinking glasses, or hurried footsteps echoing through empty hallways. Others notice cold spots that seem to move through rooms unpredictably, as if the spirits are walking among the guests. Paranormal investigators have recorded unexplained electromagnetic fluctuations, unusual temperature drops, and occasional photographic anomalies that suggest something beyond the ordinary exists within the Carey House walls. Despite its reputation, the Carey House continues to welcome travelers from around the world. Guests come to experience its historic charm, enjoy its classic decor, and immerse themselves in the Gold Rush era atmosphere. Yet for those attuned to the paranormal, staying at the hotel is as much an encounter with history as it is a brush with the unknown. Many leave with stories of ghostly figures, cold touches, or whispers that they cannot explain, tales that add a haunting layer to the hotel's legacy. The Carey House Hotel stands as a living testament to the turbulent past of Placerville. Its creaking floors, shadowed hallways, and historic rooms carry the echoes of miners, outlaws, and forgotten souls. From the phantom pushes in the hallways to the woman staring silently out windows, the Carey House is a place where history and the supernatural intertwine. Guests who cross its threshold may come seeking comfort and historical charm, but they often leave with the chilling realization that some residents of Hangtown never truly checked out. The Claremont Club and Spa in Berkeley, California, stands as a landmark of elegance and refinement, perched on the hills overlooking the San Francisco Bay. Built in 1915, it has long attracted the elite, from socialites to celebrities, who come to enjoy its luxurious accommodations, sprawling gardens, and breathtaking views. Its Spanish colonial revival architecture, with grand arches, sweeping staircases, and ornate detailing, creates an atmosphere of timeless sophistication. Yet beneath the luxury and beauty, the Claremont holds stories far darker than its sunlit terraces suggest. Over its more than a century of history, countless guests and staff have reported chilling encounters, strange phenomena, and ghostly sightings that hint at the hotel's hidden, haunted side. One of the most frequently reported phenomena involves shadowy children seen in the dim corridors and certain guest rooms. Guests ascribe waking in the middle of the night to the sound of soft giggling, often accompanied by faint footsteps or the pitter-patter of tiny shoes across the floor. When they turn on the lights or attempt to investigate, the children vanish, leaving no trace except the lingering echoes of their laughter. Some visitors report feeling a playful energy, as if the children are curious and mischievous, while others describe an unsettling sensation, a chill running down the spine, as though the presence is not entirely friendly. These spectral figures are most commonly observed near rooms that have remained largely unchanged since the hotel's early years, hinting at a connection to the past lives and long-gone residents of the Claremont. In addition to the children, numerous guests have reported sudden, unexplained chills throughout the hotel. Even when heaters are running and the day is warm, certain corridors or rooms can become icy cold without explanation. The cold often appears localized, brushing along a person's skin, as if someone or something is passing by. These abrupt temperature shifts are accompanied in some cases by an oppressive feeling of being watched, a weight on the chest that makes it difficult to breathe comfortably. Guests often awaken from sleep, trembling or unsettled, unsure whether the sensation was a dream or a brush with the paranormal. Staff members at the Claremont have their own stories, many of which involve the hotel's hallways and service areas. One of the most persistent sightings is that of a maid from the 1920s, dressed in period attire and meticulously dusting along the corridor. Employees have seen her quietly tending to the hotel's long-forgotten corners, only for her to vanish suddenly when approached. Some claim to hear the soft swish of her broom or the rustle of her uniform, even when the hallway is otherwise empty. Others have reported the faint scent of old perfume or cleaning products, reminiscent of an era long past, lingering inexplicably in areas no one has accessed for hours. Rooms with high activity are often those that have retained original furnishings or decor. Guests describe hearing doors creak open by themselves, faint whispers drifting from the corners, and furniture moving subtly as though someone invisible is adjusting it. In some instances, lights flicker or dim without explanation, adding to the sensation that the Claremont is alive in ways beyond the ordinary. Visitors frequently recount the feeling of a presence sitting on the edge of their bed, or of eyes watching them from the shadowed corners of their rooms. While these experiences are often fleeting, the intensity leaves an impression that lasts long after they check out. The hotel's long history adds to the richness and eeriness of its paranormal reputation. Throughout the decades, the Claremont has hosted weddings, social gatherings, and countless celebrations. But it has also witnessed moments of tragedy and sorrow, including illnesses, accidents, and sudden deaths. Some believe that these intense emotions, combined with the hotel's age and preserved architecture, have left residual energy, an imprint of the past that manifests in subtle, ghostly ways. Paranormal investigators who have visited the hotel report unusual electromagnetic readings, unexplained cold spots, and faint voices captured on audio devices, often corresponding to the locations where guests report seeing figures or sensing presences. The Claremont's sprawling grounds also contribute to its haunted allure. The terraces, gardens, and staircases are often quiet at night, perfect for moments of reflection or for encounters with something beyond the ordinary. Guests walking alone have occasionally reported fleeting glimpses of figures moving across the lawns or disappearing into archways. Some have heard soft laughter carried on the evening breeze, as if the hotel's spectral children have wandered outdoors. These experiences combine with the indoor phenomena to create a pervasive sense that the Claremont is more than just a historical hotel. It is a place where the past and present coexist, sometimes in unsettling ways. Despite these ghostly stories, the Claremont Club and Spa remains a highly sought-after destination. Its reputation for luxury, exceptional service, and breathtaking views draws visitors from across the country and the world. But for those sensitive to the paranormal, the hotel offers more than comfort and elegance. It provides a connection to a past that continues to inhabit its walls. Guests often leave with a sense of awe, not only for the architecture and scenery, but for the inexplicable experiences they encountered, moments that defy logic yet feel undeniably real. The Claremont Club and Spa stands as a testament to Berkeley's history, embodying both the grandeur of its architecture and the mysteries hidden within. From shadowy children giggling in the hallways to icy chills that defy explanation. From the phantom-made dusting corridors to the whispers that drift through empty rooms. The hotel remains a place where the line between the living and the departed blurs. For those who walk its halls at night, the experience is unforgettable, a haunting reminder that history, elegance, and the supernatural often intertwine in the most unexpected ways. The National Hotel in Nevada City, California, is a striking relic of the Gold Rush era, a structure that has stood proudly since 1856. Its Victorian-era architecture, with ornate woodwork, tall ceilings, and intricate details, evokes a time when the town thrived on mining, commerce, and the ambitions of fortune seekers. Over the decades, the hotel has witnessed both prosperity and tragedy, surviving fires, sudden deaths, and the relentless passage of time. While its historic charm draws travelers from across the country, many guests report that the National Hotel is more than just a place to stay. It is a residence for lingering spirits whose presence is felt throughout nearly every hallway and room. Nevada City itself earned its fame as a bustling mining hub, attracting prospectors and entrepreneurs hoping to strike it rich. The National Hotel quickly became a central gathering place for these visitors, offering comfort, warmth, and camaraderie after long days in the mines. Yet with the town's rapid growth came violence, accidents, and misfortune. From deadly falls to fires that swept through wooden structures, the hotel became a witness to both human ambition and human fragility. It is perhaps this mixture of high spirits and sorrowful endings that has left a lasting imprint, making the National Hotel one of California's most famously haunted locations. One of the most commonly reported apparitions is that of a man in a top hat. Guests often see him pacing the bar area late at night, his polished attire reflecting a bygone era of elegance. He moves with purpose, as though reviewing accounts or overseeing the comings and goings of patrons, yet he vanishes when approached. Some visitors have described feeling a sudden chill as he passes, or a tingling sensation that seems to linger long after the figure disappears. His presence is not necessarily malevolent, but there is an undeniable gravity to it, a sense that he belongs to the hotel in a way that transcends the living. Another frequently seen spirit is that of a woman in a long dress, often spotted in the stairwell or along the upper corridors. Guests report hearing soft sobbing or muffled weeping that seems to emanate from nowhere. When they investigate, they sometimes see a pale figure, her attire reminiscent of the Victorian era, standing with her head bowed in quiet sorrow. Attempts to engage with her often fail. She seems caught in her own world of grief, disconnected from the living, yet tied to the hotel's energy. Some suggest she may have died suddenly or tragically, leaving her spirit to wander the hallways in search of closure. The National Hotel is also known for its pervasive cold spots, flickering lights, and sudden temperature shifts. Guests have reported rooms becoming inexplicably icy, even on warm days, or sensing a presence pressing down on the bed or standing near them. Doors sometimes open or close without explanation, and items occasionally move from one place to another. Even in the main dining area, diners have remarked on the sensation of being watched or hearing faint whispers when no one is nearby. These subtle yet persistent phenomena contribute to the hotel's reputation as a place where the past is never truly at rest. Hallways throughout the building are often described as feeling alive with energy. The creak of floorboards, the occasional slam of doors, and shadows that seem to flicker at the edge of vision all contribute to an unsettling atmosphere. Visitors frequently report that certain areas of the hotel feel heavier than others, as though the air itself carries the weight of memories and lost souls. Paranormal investigators have documented these occurrences, capturing unexplained sounds and electromagnetic anomalies in spots where guests have reported the strongest activity. Room 7 has a particularly storied history. Guests staying there often speak of feeling an unseen presence in the corners of the room, accompanied by the sensation of being watched. Some have woken to find their belongings subtly displaced or heard footsteps pacing outside the door in the dead of night. In many cases, these experiences are fleeting, but they leave a lasting impression, causing some guests to cut their stays short. The consistent reports from multiple visitors over decades suggest that the energy in the National Hotel is persistent, a lingering echo of lives once intertwined with the building. Staff at the National Hotel are no strangers to unusual experiences. Housekeepers and maintenance personnel report hearing footsteps behind them, soft voices in empty hallways, and lights flickering unpredictably. Some claim to have seen figures standing at the ends of corridors or appearing briefly near stairwells. While many employees have grown accustomed to these occurrences, new staff members often find them unnerving, sometimes questioning whether they are truly alone while walking through the historic halls. The hotel's haunted reputation is intertwined with Nevada City's history as a mining town marked by both ambition and tragedy. Accidents in the mines, sudden deaths, fires, and the harsh realities of frontier life all contribute to a lingering presence, leaving a psychic imprint on the building itself. Guests often leave the National Hotel with a heightened sense of the past, feeling connected to the lives that came before them, yet unnerved by the realization that some spirits never left. Despite its eerie reputation, the National Hotel remains a cherished landmark, offering travelers a combination of historical charm and modern comfort. Visitors come to experience the hotel's Victorian architecture, its inviting bar, and the storied halls that have witnessed over 150 years of history. Yet for those attuned to the supernatural, a stay at the National Hotel offers more than just accommodations. It's a chance to encounter the lingering echoes of the past, from the man in the top hat pacing the bar to the weeping woman in the stairwell, and the countless spirits said to roam its hallways. The National Hotel stands as a testament to Nevada City's gold rush history, where triumph and tragedy intertwined. Its creaking floors, shadowed corridors, and restless spirits offer visitors a haunting glimpse into a bygone era, leaving them with memories that are as chilling as they are unforgettable. For anyone stepping across its threshold after dark, the experience is a vivid reminder that some souls remain tethered to the places they once called home, and that history is never truly silent. The Hotel Monte Vista in Palm Springs, California, is a historic building with an aura that seems to straddle the line between glamour and the unexplained. Though the name shares fame with the Flagstaff location in Arizona, the Palm Springs Monte Vista has its own tales of mystery and haunting that have intrigued locals and visitors alike. Built during the early days of the desert city's rise as a resort destination, the hotel quickly became a place where travelers, celebrities, and fortune seekers came to experience the luxury of the desert. Yet beneath the sun-soaked terraces and stylish architecture lies a layer of strange energy, subtle but undeniable, that has led many to believe the building is haunted. Guests who stay at the Hotel Monte Vista often recount unusual experiences that defy logical explanation. One of the most persistent phenomena is the sound of telephones ringing in rooms where no phone exists. Visitors awaken in the dead of night to the shrill sound of a ring, only to find empty walls and silent hallways. Some claim that answering the phantom phone produces only static or faint whispers, and the sound continues for several minutes before abruptly stopping. Even those familiar with the hotel's layout admit that the origin of these calls cannot be explained. The phenomenon is unnerving, creating a sense that unseen presences are attempting to communicate or perhaps simply to startle those who dwell within the rooms. Another common report involves a mysterious man who appears at the foot of guests' beds. Witnesses describe a figure dressed in dark clothing, standing silently, observing without speaking. The encounters are brief yet chilling. When the guest turns to confront the presence, it vanishes without leaving any trace. Some who have experienced it report an intense feeling of being weighed down, a sudden heaviness that presses on their chest, while the figure remains in the room. The appearance of the man is unpredictable, often occurring in the middle of the night, and has been reported in multiple rooms over the years, adding to the sense that the hotel itself is imbued with lingering spirits. The bar area of the Hotel Monte Vista is another hotspot for paranormal activity. Bartenders and patrons alike have reported glasses sliding across counters on their own, often when no one is nearby. Drinks occasionally tip or spill without reason, and objects on shelves sometimes fall to the floor despite being stable. Some say the activity is mischievous, while others suggest a more deliberate presence, as if the spirits are still attached to the hotel's social spaces where patrons once gathered. Guests recount hearing soft laughter or the clinking of glasses long after closing time, the sounds echoing through the room in a way that feels both familiar and uncanny. In addition to these more visual and auditory phenomena, many visitors experience sudden cold spots or fluctuations in temperature. Certain hallways, stairwells, and rooms are known to drop several degrees without warning, leaving guests shivering even in the warmth of the desert. The cold is often accompanied by the feeling of unseen eyes watching, a sensation that creates tension and unease. These experiences, while fleeting, are frequently cited as proof that the energy of the hotel is more than just folklore. It is an ongoing presence that interacts with those who enter its walls. Staff at the Monte Vista have long accepted that the hotel is different from other properties. Housekeepers report moving objects that have already been set aside, doors that open or close without explanation, and footsteps echoing along corridors when the building is empty. Maintenance personnel occasionally feel a brush of air or sudden pressure in isolated areas, while front desk employees recount calls from guests who are too frightened to return to their rooms. Despite the modern amenities and renovations, the hotel retains its original character, and the ghost-sore energies of the past appear undisturbed by changes to the building. The Monte Vista's reputation as a haunted hotel may be tied to its long history as a desert resort. Over decades, the property has hosted countless travelers, parties, and private events, some ending in sudden deaths, heartbreak, or other tragedies. Paranormal experts suggest that intense emotions, such as joy, grief, and anger, can leave imprints on a building, creating an environment where memories and energy persist. In the Monte Vista, these residual energies may manifest as visual apparitions, moving objects, or strange sounds, contributing to the hotel's mysterious and sometimes eerie reputation. Some guests report that the hotel seems to respond to them personally. Lights may flicker as a visitor enters a room, doors may creak open as if inviting someone to a particular hallway, and soft whispers or sighs may accompany movement. The experiences are inconsistent, yet strikingly similar across multiple stays, suggesting that the Monte Vista is home to persistent presences that interact with guests in unpredictable ways. Some describe these encounters as fleeting and benign, others as deeply unsettling, leaving a lingering impression long after checkout. The blend of glamour, history, and unexplained phenomena gives the Hotel Monte Vista a unique allure. While its stylish architecture, lush courtyards, and luxurious rooms attract travelers seeking comfort and elegance, the stories of the supernatural draw visitors who are fascinated by the unknown. Many guests leave with a sense of wonder and unease, convinced they have glimpsed something beyond the ordinary. Whether it be the man at the foot of the bed, the phantom ringing of a phone, or the mischievous activity at the bar, the Hotel Monte Vista in Palm Springs stands as a testament to history, mystery, and the thin veil between the seen and unseen. Its creaking floors, shadowed corners, and subtle disturbances offer visitors a glimpse into a world where the past lingers, whispering reminders that some presences never truly leave. For those who wander its halls after dark, the experience is unforgettable, a blend of luxury, history, and the spectral energy that makes the Monte Vista far more than just a hotel. The Upham Hotel in Santa Barbara, California, is a Victorian era, and that exudes charm, history, and an unsettling undercurrent that many guests have described as inexplicably sorrowful. Built in the late 19th century, the hotel stands as a testament to Santa Barbara's past. With its ornate woodwork, steep gables, and expansive porches, its elegant design and quaint atmosphere make it an inviting destination for travelers seeking a taste of classic California architecture and hospitality. Yet beneath the charm lies a series of ghostly legends that have persisted for decades, making the Upham Hotel a place where history and the paranormal seem to intertwine. Guests often report experiencing the hotel's lingering sadness almost immediately upon entering. The inn's hallways, lined with polished wood and period-appropriate decor, carry a weight of quiet sorrow, as though the walls themselves remember past tragedies. Many visitors claim that during the stillness of the night, they hear the soft sound of a woman crying. The sobbing is subtle at first, almost imperceptible, but it grows more distinct when rooms are empty and the rest of the building is silent. Those who investigate rarely find a source, and the sound seems to move from room to room, appearing and disappearing without explanation. For many, the cries evoke a profound empathy, leaving them shaken long after the noise stops. Another recurring phenomenon involves the hotel's doors. Several guests have reported that room doors open or close on their own, often in the middle of the night. Some wake to find their door slightly ajar, despite having locked it before sleeping, or observe it swinging gently as if nudged by an invisible hand. Housekeeping staff have echoed these reports, describing instances where doors in empty rooms latch or unlatch without anyone present. While not always aggressive, the activity is persistent enough to be unnerving, creating an atmosphere where the boundary between the natural and supernatural seems blurred. Perhaps the most chilling and frequently described apparition is that of a pale woman drifting down the hallways. Witnesses describe her as having long, dark hair that obscures her face, and a faint, ethereal glow that sets her apart from ordinary shadows. She moves silently, gliding past walls and corners without making a sound, and vanishes when approached. Some guests report feeling a cold, lingering presence as she passes, accompanied by a sense of profound sadness. Others describe an inexplicable heaviness in the air, as if her sorrow is physically pressing down on the room. While she appears to avoid direct interaction, her presence is unmistakable, leaving an impression that the Upham Hotel is more than just a historical building, is a vessel for lingering spirits. Room 12 is particularly known for heightened paranormal activity. Guests staying there have reported hearing footsteps pacing the floor above them or in adjacent rooms, even when the inn is empty. Some have woken in the middle of the night to find objects moved or slightly displaced, as though someone invisible had interacted with their belongings. Others have experienced an oppressive chill or sudden shivers that seem to come from nowhere. Paranormal investigators who have examined the room suggest that the energy may be residual, tied to a past resident or event whose emotional imprint remains strong, a haunting that refuses to dissipate despite the passing of decades. Staff members frequently witness phenomena that guests might not immediately notice. Housekeepers have reported glimpsing a shadowy figure at the end of a corridor or catching a glimpse of movement from the corner of their eye. Lights sometimes flicker or dim without cause, and unexplained cold spots appear along hallways and staircases. Many employees, familiar with the building's history, describe a feeling of melancholy that is particularly strong in the upper floors, where the pale woman is most frequently seen. The consistency of these reports over time suggests that the inn holds onto the emotions and experiences of those who once lived and died within its walls. The Upham Hotel's historical context adds depth to its haunting. Santa Barbara, during the Victorian period, was a growing community with both prosperity and hardship. Personal tragedies, sudden deaths, and lingering illnesses were part of everyday life, and the hotel likely saw its share of grief and sorrow. Guests speculate that the pale woman may have been someone who suffered heartbreak or met an untimely death within the inn, and that her presence continues to express the emotions that she carried in life. The combination of visible apparitions, auditory phenomena, and inexplicable movements has given the Upham Hotel a reputation as one of Santa Barbara's most haunted inns. Paranormal enthusiasts frequently visit, hoping to catch a glimpse of the crying woman, witness the floating figure, or feel the eerie chill that seems to accompany her. Even those skeptical of ghosts often admit to feeling an emotional heaviness in the hallways, a sensation that seems to reach beyond the tangible. Despite its haunted reputation, the Upham Hotel continues to welcome visitors seeking comfort, charm, and a connection to history. For some, the spectral experiences are subtle, adding a layer of mystery to their stay. For others, the ghostly presence is undeniable, leaving a lasting impression that lingers well after checkout. The combination of Victorian elegance, historical significance, and persistent paranormal activity makes the Upham Hotel a destination that attracts both travelers and thrill-seekers alike. The Upham Hotel in Santa Barbara stands as a unique intersection of history, beauty, and the unexplained. From the soft cries echoing at night to doors that move on their own, and the pale woman drifting silently down hallways, the inn offers a haunting glimpse into the past. Guests who spend a night within its walls may find themselves not only immersed in Santa Barbara's history, but also brushing against the lingering shadows of those who never fully departed. It is a place where elegance and sorrow intertwine, leaving a story that is as chilling as it is unforgettable. The Hotel St. Nicholas in Coloma, California, stands as a silent witness to the tumultuous days of the gold rush. Situated near the historic gold discovery site, where James Marshall first struck gold at Sutter's Mill in 1848, the hotel quickly became a refuge for miners, merchants, and travelers drawn to the promise of fortune. Its wooden frame and period architecture evoke a simpler, rougher era, yet the building carries an air of unease that has lingered long after the rush of miners faded. Today, the Hotel St. Nicholas is more than a historic landmark. It is a place where the echoes of past struggles violence, and sorrow appeared to walk alongside present-day guests. The gold rush was a time of chaos and desperation. Miners poured into Coloma, many living in makeshift tents or boarding houses, facing grueling labor, disease, and occasional violence. The Hotel St. Nicholas served as a hub for these travelers, offering shelter and a semblance of safety amid the rough-and-tumble mining community. Yet, with its central location and constant stream of weary visitors, the hotel inevitably became intertwined with the tragedies of the era. Tales of deaths from illness, fights over claims, and sudden accidents are woven into the hotel's history. And some believe the suffering of those who once stayed there has left a lasting imprint on its walls and hallways. Modern guests frequently report unsettling paranormal phenomena. One of the most commonly described experiences is the appearance of shadowy figures resembling miners. Witnesses describe men in period clothing, their bodies hunched from long hours of labor, trudging through the halls as if weighed down by invisible burdens. Their boots, heavy with phantom mud, seemed to leave no visible prints, yet the sound of their steps would, on wood, or soft thuds against the floor echoes unnervingly through the corridors. Guests often feel a sudden chill when these figures pass, a cold that seems to cling to the skin, and some report the faint smell of dirt, sweat, and smoke lingering in empty rooms. In addition to visual apparitions, many guests have reported hearing muttered voices in the dark. The murmurs are often angry or frustrated, low enough to unsettle but difficult to decipher. Some interpret these as arguments between miners or frustrated complaints about claims lost and fortunes never found. The voices appear at night, often in hallways or near stairwells, and vanish when approached, leaving guests questioning whether what they heard was imagination or the lingering residue of history itself. Beds in several rooms are said to shake or shift inexplicably, particularly in areas of the hotel closest to the original construction. Guests recount waking to find the mattress trembling or hearing creaks and thuds, as though someone or something was moving nearby. While no visible figures are present in these instances, the sensation is unmistakable, leaving a lingering unease throughout the night. These disturbances often coincide with other phenomena, such as sudden cold drafts or doors opening and closing without explanation, creating a pattern of activity that suggests a persistent presence tied to the hotel's past. Staff at the Hotel St. Nicholas have their own experiences to share. Housekeepers report feeling the brush of unseen hands while moving through hallways, hearing footsteps where no one should be, and noticing lights flicker or dim unexpectedly. Some describe entering rooms and sensing an oppressive weight, as though invisible miners are observing them or replaying scenes from long ago. Even maintenance personnel occasionally hear the mutterings of discontented voices or the dragging sound of boots across empty floors. The consistency of these accounts over decades reinforces the idea that the hotel is not merely haunted by rumor, but by energies deeply rooted in its history. Certain rooms are particularly active, especially those above the original hotel structure, where miners and travelers once lodged. Guests staying there report intense sensations of presence, cold air that lingers in one spot, and shadowy figures appearing at the foot of the bed or along the walls. Some have awakened to see a miner slowly pacing, disappearing when looked at directly. Others hear arguments or murmurs emanating from the hallway, or even feel a tugging or pressure on their bedding. These encounters are brief but vivid, leaving impressions that linger long after checkout. The haunting of the Hotel St. Nicholas may be tied directly to the intense experiences of the gold rush itself. Life in Coloma during that period was grueling, and deaths from disease, accidents, or altercations were common. Many miners died far from home, often with little ceremony or recognition, and some of their spirits may have remained tethered to the place that offered them shelter and refuge. The heavy emotions of anger, frustration, and despair are believed by some to have left energetic imprints, replaying in the hallways and rooms where history unfolded. Despite its eerie reputation, the Hotel St. Nicholas continues to welcome visitors who seek both comfort and a connection to California's gold rush history. For many, The experience is one of intrigue, rather than fear, and opportunity to glimpse the echoes of a bygone era. Yet for those attuned to the supernatural, a night spent in the hotel offers more than historical appreciation. It is a chance to witness the lingering shadows, hear the voices of frustrated miners, and feel the palpable weight of a past that refuses to fully rest. The Hotel St. Nicholas in Coloma stands as a living testament to California's gold rush era, where ambition and tragedy intersected. From shadowy miners trudging silently through halls to beds that shake and voices that murmur angrily in the dark, the hotel provides a hauntingly vivid connection to a turbulent past. Guests who walk its corridors after dark may leave with more than memories of history. They may leave with the unnerving realization that some spirits, like the miners who once walked these halls, never truly departed. The Beverly Hills Hotel, famously known as the Pink Palace, is one of California's most iconic luxury destinations. Since its opening in 1912, it has symbolized glamour, wealth, and celebrity culture, attracting stars from Hollywood's golden age to present-day entertainers. Its lush gardens, elegant poolside cabanas, and signature pink exterior create an atmosphere of opulence and sophistication. Yet, beneath the glitz and luxury, the hotel carries a darker, more enigmatic energy. For over a century, guests and staff have reported encounters with unexplained phenomena, suggesting that the Beverly Hills Hotel is haunted by spirits who refuse to leave its elegant halls. Many of the hotel's spectral sightings occur in the early morning hours, often around 2 a.m., when the building is quiet and most guests are asleep. One of the most frequently reported apparitions is a figure dressed entirely in black, seen lurking in the lobby or moving silently across the grand entrance hall. Witnesses describe the figure as tall and imposing, with no discernible facial features, and as though it is observing the living from a distance. Attempts to approach or communicate with the presence often fail. The figure vanishes without warning, leaving only an unsettling chill in the air. Guests who see it describe a combination of awe and fear, a realization that something unseen inhabits one of the world's most glamorous hotels. In addition to the lobby sightings, many guests report paranormal activity in the suites themselves. Footsteps pacing along empty corridors, often echoing as if multiple people were present, are commonly heard late at night. Some guests describe waking to the sensation of someone standing at the foot of the bed, only to find the room empty upon opening their eyes. Doors may open or close without explanation, and objects on dressers or tables sometimes appear to shift or fall for no apparent reason. Even in the most luxurious rooms, the eerie feeling of being watched can unsettle visitors, leaving them wary of the shadows that dance just beyond their vision. Staff members at the Beverly Hills Hotel are intimately familiar with these disturbances, and many take precautions when working alone in certain wings. Housekeepers and security personnel have reported a constant sensation of being observed, accompanied by the feeling that a presence is following them down the corridors. Some staff refuse to work late shifts in these areas, citing experiences where lights flicker without cause, doors latch or unlatch spontaneously, and cold drafts appear in otherwise climate-controlled spaces. Maintenance teams have noted that these phenomena occur even when electrical systems are fully functional, reinforcing the belief that the occurrences are not mere technical malfunctions. The hotel's history contributes to its haunted reputation. Over the decades, it has hosted countless famous personalities, from classic Hollywood icons to contemporary celebrities. Many of these figures have passed away, yet legends persist that some spirits linger, attached to the luxurious environment they once frequented. Stories abound of guests glimpsing former stars in fleeting reflections or shadowy forms, leaving behind a palpable sense of nostalgia and unease. Others believe the spirits may belong to hotel employees of the past, some of whom worked long hours, and may have met untimely or tragic ends during the hotel's early decades. Certain areas of the hotel, particularly the older suites and hallways near the original structure, are hotspots for activity. Guests report intense sensations of presence, sudden drops in temperature, and shadows moving across walls. Some have claimed that their beds shook slightly during the night, as if someone had briefly sat or shifted on the mattress. Faint murmurs or whispers are sometimes heard, though no source can be located. These subtle manifestations often leave an impression far stronger than any physical evidence, convincing visitors that the Beverly Hills Hotel is more than just a place of luxury. It is a repository for spirits that continue to inhabit its spaces. The famous poolside and garden areas, although seemingly serene, have also been the sites of unusual experiences. Some visitors recount seeing shadowy figures moving among the palm trees or catching glimpses of forms reflected in the water, only to disappear when approached. At night, the combination of soft lighting and dense foliage creates an environment where the veil between the living and the unseen seems particularly thin. Even those skeptical of ghosts often admit to a strange sense of unease or the feeling of being watched when wandering alone after dark. Paranormal investigators who have studied the Beverly Hills Hotel report consistent patterns of activity. Electromagnetic fluctuations, sudden temperature drops, and faint audio anomalies are frequently detected in areas with a history of guest sightings. Photographs taken in low-light conditions occasionally reveal shadowy shapes, further supporting the claims of supernatural encounters. These investigations, combined with decades of anecdotal reports from guests and staff, contribute to the hotel's reputation as one of the most haunted luxury destinations in California. Despite its haunted reputation, the Beverly Hills Hotel continues to operate as a premier destination for travelers seeking elegance and sophistication. Guests come for the luxury, the history, and the chance to experience a piece of Hollywood glamour. Yet for those sensitive to the paranormal, the hotel offers something more: a connection to the lingering presence of those who walked its halls long before. Many leave with stories of shadowy figures, unexplained footsteps, and the uncanny feeling of being watched, experiences that linger far longer than the comfort of the pink suites or the beauty of the gardens. The Beverly Hills Hotel stands as a unique intersection of history, luxury, and the unexplained. From the figure in black haunting the lobby to phantom footsteps pacing empty suites and staff who feel watched in certain wings, the hotel carries an energy that is both glamorous and eerie. Guests who spend a night within its walls may find themselves not only immersed in Hollywood history, but also brushing against a spectral presence that has called the Pink Palace home for over a century. The experience is unforgettably haunting reminder that even in the world's most luxurious settings, some spirits refuse to leave. The Hotel San Carlos in San Francisco, California, is a historic establishment whose elegant facade conceals a lingering atmosphere of mystery and unease. Built in the early 20th century, the hotel has welcomed countless travelers over the decades, providing them with comfortable accommodations and a convenient location in the heart of the city. Yet for many visitors, a stay at the San Carlos is not only about hospitality, it is an encounter with the unexplained. Guests and staff alike have reported strange phenomena, creating a reputation for the hotel as one of San Francisco's most haunted locales. From the moment visitors enter the San Carlos, there is a subtle, inexplicable tension in the air. Many guests describe a sudden wave of dread that seems to wash over them upon checking in or wandering the hallways. This sense of foreboding is often accompanied by chills, a tightening in the chest, or a feeling that unseen eyes are observing their every move. Even those who do not believe in the supernatural often report an instinctive desire to leave certain areas of the hotel, as if the building itself is charged with residual emotion from the past. Mirrors in the Hotel San Carlos are frequently cited as portals for unexplained activity. Guests have reported seeing figures in period clothing appearing within their reflections, only to vanish when they attempt to turn and locate the person in the room. Some describe glimpses of women in flowing dresses or men in early 20th century suits, walking past their reflections silently and deliberately, their faces obscured or expressionless. Others have witnessed fleeting shadows flit across mirrors while no one else is present. The effect is unnerving, creating the impression that the hotel's history is not confined to photographs or records, it is reflected back to the living, literally and figuratively. Empty stairwells are another focal point of supernatural activity. Guests report hearing laughter echoing from the stairwells when no one is present. The laughter ranges from playful and high-pitched to low and sinister, often occurring late at night when the building is quiet. Some have heard the sound of hurried footsteps accompanying the laughter, or doors creaking as though someone is descending the stairs unseen. Those who investigate frequently find no one to account for the sounds. No evidence of mischief, but the impression of another presence lingers, leaving an emotional mark that cannot easily be ignored. Rooms in the hotel, particularly those retaining much of their original decor, are known for their activity. Guests have reported objects shifting subtly, doors opening or closing without warning, and lights flickering inexplicably. Many describe waking in the middle of the night to the sensation of someone standing in the room, observing from a shadowed corner, only to find it empty moments later. The feeling of being watched is pervasive, and some guests admit they were too unnerved to stay the full night. For those sensitive to paranormal energy, the experience is deeply unsettling, while others dismiss it as imagination. But even skeptics often note the building's heavy, almost oppressive atmosphere. Staff at the San Carlos are familiar with many of the unexplained occurrences. Housekeepers and security personnel recount hearing soft voices, faint footsteps, and the occasional echo of laughter or murmured conversation when halls are empty. Some have seen fleeting figures in the hallways or moving shadows near corners. And a few report cold spots that persist in one area for no apparent reason. Employees say that the activity tends to be concentrated in older sections of the hotel, especially stairwells and rooms that have seen minimal renovation. Many staff have come to accept these phenomena as part of the building's character, though new employees often find the experience unnerving. The history of the Hotel San Carlos provides context for its haunted reputation. Over the decades, the hotel has been a witness to both joy and tragedy. Guests have stayed during times of personal celebration, while others have experienced heartbreak, illness, or sudden death within its walls. These intense emotional moments may have left imprints that continue to manifest today. Paranormal experts suggest that locations with repeated emotional energy, whether from grief, fear, or stress, can retain these feelings in ways that interact with living visitors. In the San Carlos, this residual energy seems to manifest as visual apparitions, auditory anomalies, and sudden waves of emotion. Certain rooms, especially those on the upper floors and near the stairwells, are reported to have higher levels of activity. Guests staying there may hear soft whispers, the rustle of unseen clothing, or faint giggles that seem to circle the room. Some have reported seeing figures appear in mirrors, only to disappear when the light changes or when they turn away. Even the hotel's public spaces, such as corridors and lounges, have been described as having a strange energy, leaving visitors with a sense that they are not entirely alone, even in broad daylight. Despite its eerie reputation, the Hotel San Carlos remains a popular destination for visitors to San Francisco. Its historic charm, convenient location, and classic architecture attract travelers from around the world. For many, the possibility of paranormal encounters adds intrigue to an otherwise standard hotel stay. Guests often leave with stories of fleeting figures, ghostly laughter, and mirrors that reveal more than just their own reflection, whether real or imagined. The experiences at the San Carlos create a memorable, sometimes chilling, encounter with the city's history. The Hotel San Carlos stands as a testament to San Francisco's layered past, where the echoes of previous lives continue to linger in hallways, stairwells, and mirrored reflections. From waves of sudden dread to figures in period clothing and laughter from empty stairwells. The hotel offers a haunting experience that intertwines history, elegance, and the unexplained. Guests who spend the night within its walls often find themselves looking more carefully at reflections, listening closely to the shadows, and realizing that some parts of the past may never truly fade. The Brookdale Lodge, nestled in the Santa Cruz Mountains of California, is a historic retreat with a story as tragic as it is eerie. Once a glamorous getaway for vacationers seeking the serenity of towering redwoods, the lodge exudes rustic charm with its wooden beams, stone fireplaces, and the gentle babble of an indoor creek running through the dining area. Visitors are drawn to its natural beauty, the sense of seclusion, and the nostalgia of a bygone era. Yet beneath the lodge's picturesque exterior lies a history marked by sorrow and unexplained phenomena that continues to unsettle those who spend the night. The most notorious tale associated with the Brookdale Lodge involves a tragic drowning in the dining room's indoor creek. Years ago, a little girl lost her life in the water, a calamity that left a profound mark on the lodge and its visitors. Since then, guests have reported hearing the soft, haunting giggles of a child echoing across the creek, especially during quiet evening hours. Some claim that the sound is light and playful, almost innocent, while others describe it as chilling, reverberating eerily off the wooden beams and stone walls of the dining hall. The giggling seems to appear without warning, lingering just long enough to make visitors question whether it is reality or the echo of a tragic memory. Accompanying the sounds are physical manifestations that cannot be easily explained. Several guests have reported seeing wet footprints appear on the dining room floors, as though a small child had walked across the room moments before. These footprints often vanish before anyone can follow them, leaving only a damp outline and the lingering sense of presence. Staff members recount wiping down the floors, only to find the same marks reappear hours later, sometimes in areas where no water could have been tracked in naturally. For many, these signs suggest that the spirit of the girl continues to wander, trapped in the place where her life ended. Outside the lodge, among the towering redwoods and winding paths, visitors report encounters with shadowy figures that seem to move silently among the trees. Some describe fleeting silhouettes just beyond the tree line, barely visible but unmistakably human in shape. The figures often appear at twilight or in the early morning and vanish when approached. Guests have experienced the unsettling sensation of being watched as they walk along the paths, accompanied by the feeling that someone or something is following them. Even in daylight, the forested surroundings seem charged with an energy that is both beautiful and foreboding. The Brookdale Lodge is also known for unusual sounds that echo throughout the building. Footsteps often traverse hallways where no one is present. Doors creak open or shut without explanation. And the indoor creek occasionally gurgles louder than natural physics would allow. Some visitors report the soft, sorrowful sounds of crying or whispers drifting through empty rooms, as if spirits are replaying moments of grief and loss. These occurrences, though subtle, leave a lasting impression and contribute to the lodge's reputation as a haunted location. Staff and longtime employees of the Brookdale Lodge frequently recount personal experiences with the unexplained. Housekeepers have reported glimpsing a small figure darting past a hallway or peering from around corners, only to disappear when approached. Maintenance personnel speak of tools or objects shifting inexplicably, lights flickering without electrical cause, and cold drafts that appear in isolated spots even on warm days. Security staff have occasionally heard voices or footsteps near the creek or in the redwood groves, with no guests or animals present. For those who work there regularly, the lodge's hauntings are a part of daily life, and accepted, but still unsettling presence. Some rooms in the lodge, particularly those near the creek or with views of the redwoods, are hotspots for paranormal activity. Guests staying there report sudden drops in temperature, the sensation of invisible hands brushing across their skin, and fleeting shadows at the edge of their vision. Some have awakened to see a small child standing at the foot of the bed, only for the figure to fade when noticed directly. These experiences, though brief, are vivid enough to leave an emotional imprint, blending sorrow, fear, and curiosity in equal measure. The haunting energy of the Brookdale Lodge may be tied to both the tragedy of the little girl and the natural history of the location. The lodge has seen decades of visitors, celebrations, and occasional misfortune, all set against the backdrop of the dense and ancient redwood forest. Some paranormal experts suggest that locations imbued with intense emotions, whether joy, sorrow, or fear, retain residual energy that can manifest as apparitions, sounds, or physical effects. At the Brookdale, this residual energy seems particularly strong, creating encounters that are both chilling and unforgettable. Despite its haunted reputation, the Brookdale Lodge continues to attract visitors seeking both beauty and mystery. The redwoods, indoor creek, and rustic charm offer a retreat from modern life, while the ghostly phenomena add intrigue for those drawn to the supernatural. Guests often leave with stories of giggling echoes, wet footprints, shadowy figures among the trees, and a lingering sense that the lodge is more than it appears, a place where the past has not fully let go. The Brookdale Lodge in the Santa Cruz Mountains is a hauntingly beautiful destination, where the natural serenity of the redwoods meets the echoes of past tragedy. From the little girl's laughter drifting across the indoor creek to wet footprints that appear mysteriously on the floors and shadowy figures moving among the trees, the lodge offers a chilling but unforgettable experience. Visitors who stay within its walls come away with memories that blend history, nature, and the unexplained, a reminder that some spirits never truly leave the places that hold their stories. The Alexandria Hotel in Los Angeles, California, stands as a relic of a bygone era. A building that once radiated glamour and elegance, but now exudes a sense of decay and spectral presence. Opened in 1906, the hotel quickly became one of the city's premier destinations, attracting Hollywood stars, socialites, and influential figures from across the country. Its grand architecture, ornate ballrooms, and luxurious suites made it a hub of high society. But the passage of time and the ebbing of fortune have left the building a shadow of its former glory. Yet, for those who step inside, the Alexandria is not merely a historic site, it is a place where the past lingers, and restless spirits appear to haunt its corridors and ballrooms. Guests entering the Alexandria Hotel often comment on a sudden drop in temperature, an unnatural chill that seems to seep from the walls themselves. Even on warm Los Angeles days, certain hallways and rooms carry an icy presence, as though the building has retained a fragment of the emotions and energy of those who once occupied it. This cold is frequently accompanied by a feeling of unease, a sense that one is being watched, particularly in areas where the hotel's original grandeur is most apparent. The effect is subtle at first, a creeping tension that grows as visitors explore the building's empty corridors and abandoned wings. One of the most haunting features of the Alexandria is its once famous ballrooms. Guests and paranormal investigators alike have reported seeing apparitions dancing across the polished floors, moving gracefully to music that is not audible to the living. Some witnesses describe figures dressed in early 20th century evening attire, men in tuxedos, women in flowing gowns, gliding in pairs or circles as though reliving a long-past gala. The movements are precise and elegant, yet ephemeral. When observers approach, the figures vanish, leaving only the faint sound of footsteps echoing across the empty space. These ghostly dancers are often accompanied by the faintest strains of music, a soft waltz or jazzy melody drifting through the air, as if replaying the joy and excitement of the hotel's golden age. Corridors throughout the Alexandria are also notorious for their restless activity. Doors slam suddenly, often in areas that have been long abandoned. Lights flicker unexpectedly, and shadows seem to move just beyond the edge of vision. Guests report hearing whispers in the hallways, indistinct murmurs that vanish when they attempt to focus on the source. The sensation of presence is strong, as if multiple spirits linger, observing or interacting with the living, their stories and emotions imprinted on the structure itself. Even seasoned visitors accustomed to historic hotels find themselves on edge, unnerved by the building's palpable energy. Rooms in the hotel carry their own tales of the unexplained. Guests have reported objects shifting on tables and dressers, beds appearing slightly disturbed, and sudden temperature drops in specific corners of the room. Some claim to have woken in the middle of the night to the feeling of being watched or to see shadowy figures at the foot of their beds. These experiences are often fleeting, yet vivid, leaving a lasting impression on those who witness them. Staff members who have worked at the Alexandria recount similar occurrences, noting that the activity tends to be more intense in the older, less renovated parts of the hotel, where the energy of the past seems most concentrated. The Alexandria Hotel's haunted reputation is intertwined with its history of fame and tragedy. During its peak, the hotel was home to Hollywood royalty and social elites, yet it also witnessed heartbreak, scandal, and sudden deaths. Some of the spectral activity is believed to be tied to those who died within the building, while other manifestations may represent echoes of intense emotion, laughter, excitement, and sorrow that the walls have absorbed over the decades. Paranormal experts suggest that locations with repeated emotional energy often retain imprints, replaying events or feelings in subtle ways that interact with the living. In the Alexandria, this seems particularly true, with ghostly dancers, sudden chills, and unexplained sounds creating a living memory of the hotel's past. Certain areas, such as the abandoned upper floors and the corridors leading to the ballrooms, are considered hotspots for paranormal activity. Visitors often report hearing footsteps, seeing fleeting shadows, or catching glimpses of figures standing silently at the end of a hallway. Some have experienced doors opening or closing on their own, or felt sudden drafts that have no logical explanation. Even the air seems different in these sections, heavy with history and the unseen presences that refuse to leave, despite its decline from luxury to decay. The Alexandria Hotel continues to attract attention from those fascinated by its history and hauntings. For some, a visit is an exploration of Los Angeles' golden age, while for others, it is an opportunity to encounter the unexplained. Guests often leave with stories of ghostly dancers on the ballroom floors, cold drafts seeping from the walls, and doors that slam in empty corridors. Whether interpreted as the remnants of history or genuine paranormal activity, the experiences create a memorable and chilling impression. The Alexandria Hotel in Los Angeles stands as a monument to a glamorous past, shadowed by tragedy and the supernatural. From the ghostly figures dancing across abandoned ballrooms, to doors slamming in empty hallways, and cold air that seems to seep from the very walls, the hotel offers an experience that blends history, elegance, and the unexplained. Visitors who spend time within its decaying halls may leave with more than memories. They may leave with a sense that the spirits of Hollywood's past continue to inhabit the place, ensuring that the Alexandria story is far from over. The Hotel La Rose in Santa Rosa, California, is a charming establishment that combines historic elegance with an unsettling reputation. Built in 1907, this century-old hotel has welcomed travelers for generations, offering Victorian architecture, high ceilings, and a sense of old-world hospitality. Its red brick exterior and intricate detailing convey a timeless charm, attracting visitors who appreciate both history and comfort. Yet, beneath its inviting facade, the Hotel La Rose has become well known for paranormal activity, making it a destination for those intrigued by the supernatural. One of the most commonly reported phenomena at the Hotel La Rose involves the presence of ghostly children. Guests frequently describe hearing the sounds of laughter echoing through hallways, often when no one else is in sight. The laughter can range from soft and playful to slightly eerie, appearing at any time of day but most often in the evening or late at night. Some visitors have described the sounds as coming from above or below their rooms, suggesting that the spirits move freely throughout the building, invisible yet undeniably present. In certain rooms, guests have reported objects moving on their own. Toys are particularly active, shifting across floors or changing positions on shelves without explanation. Some have found dolls or small playthings in different parts of the room than where they were left, and in rare instances, items appear to have been touched or handled, though no one else is present. These seemingly harmless yet unsettling events contribute to the sense that children's spirits inhabit the hotel, replaying moments of play and mischief long after their lives ended. Staff members have witnessed similar activity during their work. Housekeepers recount stories of doors locking from the inside, even when no one is present, and sometimes opening just as mysteriously. Lights flicker in rooms where electricity is functioning normally, and cold spots often appear in specific hallways or corners, intensifying the feeling that unseen presences are nearby. Maintenance personnel have occasionally noticed furniture or linens subtly shifted, as if an invisible hand had moved them. These occurrences consistent over decades, suggests that the hotel's hauntings are deeply rooted and not easily dismissed. The hotel's historic context adds weight to its supernatural reputation. Built in the early 20th century, the Hotel La Rose has seen generations of visitors, both joyous and tragic. Over time, accidents, sudden illnesses, and other misfortunes likely contributed to the presence of residual energy that continues to linger. Paranormal experts suggest that locations steeped in emotion, particularly those involving children, are prone to retaining energetic imprints. At La Rose, these energies seem to manifest as playful, sometimes mischievous spirits that interact with the physical environment in subtle yet unmistakable ways. Some rooms are particularly active, especially those in the older wings of the hotel. Guests staying in these rooms often report hearing small footsteps along the floorboards, feeling gentle touches on their arms or shoulders, or observing fleeting shadows in mirrors or corners. Many describe a warm, playful energy, accompanied by the occasional sensation of being watched. While these encounters are not typically malevolent, they are vivid enough to unsettle even seasoned visitors and leave a lasting impression of the hotel's spectral inhabitants. The hallways of Hotel La Rose carry their own share of paranormal activity. Guests and staff alike describe hearing the faint patter of little feet, often accompanied by laughter or soft whispers. These sounds can appear suddenly and vanish just as quickly, creating an eerie sense that the building itself is alive with unseen activity. Some hallways have been identified as hotspots for these occurrences, particularly near stairwells or rooms that retain original architectural features. The combination of historic design and residual energy seems to amplify the paranormal activity, making even brief walks through the corridors memorable. Guests also report sensory anomalies, such as sudden drops in temperature or inexplicable drafts, which often coincide with other manifestations, like moving toys or sounds of laughter. These cold spots are particularly chilling because they occur in otherwise warm rooms and are not attributable to ventilation or weather conditions. Some visitors interpret the phenomena as attempts by the spirits to communicate or make their presence known, while others simply experience them as an unshakable feeling of being in the company of something unseen. Despite the paranormal activity, the Hotel La Rose remains a beloved destination for travelers seeking historic charm in Santa Rosa. The combination of elegance, history, and spectral intrigue draws guests from across the country, including those who specifically seek out haunted locations. For many, a stay at La Rose offers a unique opportunity to experience both the comfort of a historic hotel and the thrill of encountering something beyond the ordinary. Stories of ghostly children, moving toys, and self-locking doors circulate widely, contributing to the hotel's reputation as a site where the past has not fully let go. The Hotel La Rose is a striking example of how history and the unexplained can coexist in a single location. From the echoing laughter of unseen children to toys that move without hands and doors that lock mysteriously, the hotel provides a chilling yet fascinating experience. Guests who spend the night here may find themselves looking more closely at shadows, listening intently to distant giggles, and sensing that the building's history is alive in ways that go far beyond its architectural beauty. In the Hotel La Rose, charm and haunting intertwine, leaving a memory that is both captivating and unsettling. The Murphy's Historic Hotel in Murphy's, California, is a landmark steeped in history, charm, and an undeniable air of mystery. Established during the Gold Rush era, the hotel has hosted a wide array of notable figures, from literary legends like Mark Twain to political icons such as Ulysses S. Grant. Its old-world architecture, wooden beams, and ornate fixtures evoke a sense of nostalgia, transporting visitors to a time when the small town of Murphy's was a bustling center of commerce, entertainment, and social gatherings. Yet beneath its historic elegance, the hotel harbors stories of restless spirits and unexplained activity that have intrigued terrified guests for generations. One of the most frequently reported apparitions at the Murphy's Historic Hotel is that of a ghostly woman in white. Guests describe seeing her glide silently along the upstairs halls, her flowing gown swaying as she moves. She appears ethereal yet distinct, often brushing past guests as if to acknowledge their presence, leaving a lingering chill in her wake. While her face is sometimes obscured, those who have glimpsed her features report an expression of sorrow or longing, suggesting that she may be a spirit tied to events long past. Witnesses emphasize that her presence is usually fleeting, seen from the corner of the eye, or disappearing around a hallway bend, but impactful enough to leave a lasting impression. Room 9 has become particularly infamous among paranormal enthusiasts. Guests staying in this room often report sudden cold spots that seem to hover in one corner or sweep across the room without any logical source. Some awaken in the middle of the night to hear soft whispers, unintelligible yet unmistakably human, echoing through the room. Many describe the sensation of being observed, a feeling so pervasive that it keeps them on edge, even if no visual apparition appears. Housekeepers and staff confirm the unusual activity, noting that objects occasionally shift on their own and doors sometimes lock or unlock mysteriously. The hallways themselves carry stories of eerie encounters. In the quiet hours of the night, footsteps are heard pacing above or below, despite the corridors appearing empty. Some guests have reported fleeting shadows gliding along the walls or caught in the soft glow of antique lamps. These shadows often disappear when approached, yet the sense of a lingering presence persists, creating an atmosphere that is both tense and hauntingly beautiful. Visitors frequently comment that the combination of the hotel's historic ambience and the spectral activity makes the experience unforgettable, leaving them both captivated and unnerved. Paranormal investigators have explored the Murphy's Historic Hotel extensively, documenting unusual electromagnetic fluctuations, temperature drops, and audio anomalies. Some claim to have recorded whispers and faint crying during quiet hours, while others have captured shadowy figures on video. Many believe that these phenomena are tied to the hotel's long history, its guests, and perhaps its tragic or sorrowful moments that have left energetic imprints. The apparition of the woman in white, in particular, seems to be the focal point of much of the paranormal activity, appearing frequently in the upper floors and corridors where history is most palpable. The history of the Murphy's Historic Hotel helps to explain its reputation. Over the decades, the hotel has been a social hub, hosting grand events, parties, and gatherings. But it has also been a place of heartbreak, illness, and unexpected deaths. Some speculate that the ghostly woman may be connected to one such tragic event, a visitor or resident who never departed in life and whose presence lingers in death. The energy of the building, infused with joy, sorrow, and intense emotion from generations past, seems to manifest in these spectral encounters, making the hotel a rare intersection of history and the supernatural. Guests often recount more subtle experiences as well. Cold breezes that move through hallways without windows open, doors gently creaking or shutting on their own, and faint murmurs that seem to follow them as they walk are all common reports. Some describe feeling a gentle touch on the shoulder or back when no one else is around, a sensation that is startling yet inexplicably gentle. These encounters, though sometimes brief, reinforce the idea that the Murphy's Historic Hotel is a place where the line between the living and the dead is remarkably thin. Even the hotel's public spaces, the lobby, dining area, and stairwells carry an uncanny energy. Visitors report feeling watched while sitting in seemingly empty rooms, and the soft echo of footsteps or laughter can occasionally be heard when no one else is present. Some guests claim that their photographs capture fleeting shadows or strange light anomalies, further suggesting that unseen presences inhabit the hotel. For many, these experiences create a chilling but unforgettable encounter with history and the unexplained. Despite its haunted reputation, the Murphy's Historic Hotel continues to welcome guests from around the world. Some visitors are drawn by the history, others by the town's charm, and many by the possibility of encountering something supernatural. The stories of ghostly figures, whispers in the night, and cold spots create a sense of mystery that enhances the hotel's appeal, making it both a historic destination and a paranormal hotspot. The Murphy's Historic Hotel stands as a testament to California's layered past, where luxury, history, and the unexplained converge. From the ghostly woman in white roaming the upstairs halls to cold spots in room 9 and whispers that fill the night, the hotel offers an experience that is as haunting as it is fascinating. Guests who spend the night within its walls may find themselves looking over their shoulders, listening intently for footsteps, and sensing that the spirits of the past have never truly left. The Hotel Bret Harte in Willits, California, carries with it a name tied to literature, but its legacy is much darker than its cultured facade suggests. Built during the early 20th century and named for the famed American author Bret Harte, the hotel was once a proud establishment that drew travelers passing through Mendocino County. Its historic architecture and central location gave it prominence in the small town, serving as both a resting place for visitors and a gathering point for locals. But as the decades rolled on, the walls of the Hotel Bret Harte began to hold more than memories of laughter and music. Whispers of ghostly encounters, terrifying shadows, and chilling voices transformed the hotel's reputation into one of unease and fear. Guests who stay at the hotel frequently report waking in the middle of the night to unsettling sights. The most common and terrifying of these encounters involve shadowy figures lingering in the corners of their rooms. At first, these figures appear as dark silhouettes, vague shapes blending into the dimness of the space. But as eyes adjust, the shadows sometimes grow clearer, forming into human-like outlines. Several guests have described the horrifying moment when one of these figures appeared to stretch or lean forward, reaching out as if to touch or grab them. The sensation of a hand hovering just above the skin, though nothing physical makes contact, leaves many frozen in terror. Some scream, only for the figure to dissolve back into darkness, while others are too paralyzed to move until morning light breaks. Room after room seems to hold its own story of these apparitions. One traveler recounted awakening to find a tall shadow standing beside the bed, its hand extended inches from his chest. Another visitor reported watching a figure slowly emerge from a dark corner of the room, drifting closer until it loomed over the bed, before disappearing as she reached for the lamp. These recurring encounters suggest not mere imagination but an embedded presence within the hotel, an energy that refuses to remain unseen. The unsettling encounters are not confined to visual apparitions alone. Disembodied voices are a persistent part of the hotel's chilling phenomena. Guests and staff alike have reported hearing clear, audible words when no one else is around. The most common phrase, repeated across numerous accounts, is a single stern command. Leave. These warnings echo through empty hallways, sometimes whispered directly into guests' ears when they are alone. Paranormal investigators visiting the hotel have captured the same phrase on audio recordings. A chilling consistency that suggests intelligent communication rather than random sound. The voices vary in tone, sometimes male, sometimes female, sometimes a hoarse whisper, and other times loud enough to seem as though spoken directly beside the listener. The intent, however, is always the same: to drive the living out. The hallways and stairwells of the Hotel Bret Harte carry their own oppressive energy. Guests walking these paths often feel sudden drops in temperature, accompanied by the unmistakable sensation of being followed. Footsteps echo from behind, keeping pace with their own, only to stop when they turn around. Some visitors have described the feeling of a cold breath against their neck or the brush of unseen fingers against their arms. Others report doors slamming shut down empty corridors, or the distinct sound of a key turning in a lock where no one is present. These unsettling experiences reinforce the belief that the hotel is more than just a historic building. It's a place where unseen forces actively interact with the living. Staff members have grown accustomed to the strange activity, though many admit they are uneasy when working alone in certain parts of the hotel. Housekeepers describe finding freshly made beds rumpled minutes after they've been tidied, or discovering furniture slightly moved without explanation. Night staff speak of hearing faint conversations in vacant rooms, the murmur of voices that cut off abruptly when investigated. Some employees refuse to enter the basement or certain unused wings of the hotel, convinced that the energy there is stronger and more malevolent than in other areas. The source of the hauntings at the Hotel Bret Harte is uncertain, but speculation abounds. Some suggest the building, having stood for generations, absorbed the energy of countless lives that passed through it, joyful, sorrowful, and violent alike. Others believe tragedies within its walls, whether deaths, illnesses, or untold misfortunes, left a residue that manifests as restless spirits. The repeated warnings of leaves suggest not residual energy, but intelligent hauntings, with entities aware of and hostile toward the living who enter their domain. For visitors seeking a paranormal experience, the Hotel Bret Harte delivers. Guests who arrive for history and charm often leave with stories of terrifying nights, shadowy intruders, and voices that seem to echo from beyond the grave. Even skeptics, who dismiss ghost stories as imagination or coincidence, find themselves shaken by the hotel's chilling atmosphere. Many agree that the building holds an energy that is impossible to ignore, a sense that one is never truly alone, even in an empty room. The Hotel Bret Harte in Willits stands as more than a historic landmark. It is a place where the veil between the living and the dead feels unusually thin, with shadow figures that loom in corners and reach toward guests, and disembodied voices that demand visitors to leave. The hotel offers an experience that is as unsettling as it is unforgettable. For those who dare to stay the night, the memories often linger long after departure, a reminder that some places hold on to their ghosts more tightly than others. The Napa River Inn, located in the heart of California's famed wine country, is a historic establishment that exudes charm, elegance, and an atmosphere steeped in history. Housed within a renovated 19th-century building along the Napa River, the inn attracts visitors seeking both luxury and the picturesque surroundings of vineyards and rolling hills. Its exposed brick walls, antique furnishings, and riverside views create a serene and inviting ambience. Yet, beneath the inn's refined exterior lies a legacy of unexplained phenomena that has made it a focal point for those intrigued by the paranormal. Guests and staff alike report encounters that suggest the presence of lingering spirits, creating an experience that blends the beauty of Napa Valley with the unsettling sensation of the supernatural. Many visitors to the Napa River describe being awakened in the night by the sound of footsteps echoing through the hallways. These are not the ordinary creaks of an old building, but the distinct rhythm of human movement. Footsteps pace corridors, sometimes stopping outside guest rooms, then continuing down the hall, fading only when approached. Guests often report checking the hallways, only to find them empty, yet the sound remains vivid and convincing. Some interpret these footsteps as remnants of past visitors or employees, spirits still roaming the halls long after their earthly lives ended. Shadowy figures are another common occurrence at the inn. Guests have reported glimpsing dark silhouettes gliding across hallways, vanishing when directly confronted. These apparitions vary in size and shape, some appearing human-like, while others are more amorphous, their presence felt more than seen. Observers often describe a sudden feeling of being watched, a tension that seems to follow them through the corridors and even into their rooms. Some claim to have seen these shadows move with purpose, as though retracing steps from decades past, while others experience fleeting glimpses at the corner of their vision, leaving them questioning whether they truly saw anything at all. Staircases in the inn are frequently cited as sites of paranormal activity. Guests report feeling gentle, inexplicable nudges while descending or ascending the stairs, as if invisible hands guide or perhaps warn them. Some recount an eerie sense of being accompanied by unseen company, footsteps and soft creaks in time with their own movements. The sensation is often subtle, a light touch or a pressure against the back, yet it creates an unnerving awareness of something present beyond human perception. Perhaps most peculiar are the sudden bursts of perfume that appear without source. Guests have described catching the faint scent of roses, lavender, or other floral fragrances drifting through rooms or hallways when no one has been present. The smell is often strong enough to be unmistakable, lingering for moments before dissipating. Some interpret this phenomenon as a spirit attempting to communicate or make its presence known, a fleeting signature of those who once occupied the building. For others, it is a sensory reminder that the inn is more than just bricks and mortar. It is a vessel for memories, both living and spectral. Staff members of the Napa River Inn have long been aware of these unusual occurrences. Housekeepers recount objects being moved or slightly displaced between cleaning and return visits. Lights have been known to flicker spontaneously, and doors occasionally open or close on their own. Maintenance staff have documented temperature fluctuations in areas that cannot be explained by HVAC systems, often coinciding with heightened paranormal activity. Over time, the personnel have come to accept these occurrences as part of the inn's character, while still acknowledging the profound effect they can have on visitors, particularly those unfamiliar with the building's haunted reputation. The inn's history provides some context for its supernatural phenomena. The building dates back to the 19th century, a time when Napa was rapidly developing as a commercial and agricultural hub. Over the decades, it has seen countless guests, celebrations, and occasional tragedies. Some paranormal researchers suggest that buildings with a long history and intense emotional activity are more prone to residual energy echoes of lives lived, moments of joy, sorrow, and unresolved experiences left imprinted in the space. At the Napa River Inn, these imprints appear to manifest as footsteps, shadows, and the gentle but unmistakable touches felt by guests. Certain rooms are considered especially active, with reports of flickering lights, moving objects, or sudden drops in temperature. Guests staying in these rooms often wake with the feeling of being watched or sense a presence in the room, even when alone. Many describe a combination of auditory and tactile experiences, from whispered footsteps to brushes against the arm, leaving them with a lingering impression of a presence that cannot be explained by conventional means. Despite the inn's haunted reputation, it remains a popular destination for visitors to Napa Valley. Many are drawn by its charm, history, and proximity to vineyards, while others are intrigued by the opportunity to experience the unexplained firsthand. Guests often leave with stories of shadowy figures gliding through hallways, perfume drifting mysteriously through rooms, and gentle touches on the stairs, recounting experiences that blend the natural beauty of wine country with the eerie sensation of the supernatural. The Napa River Inn is more than a historic hotel. It is a place where the past feels alive, lingering in the footsteps, shadows, and fleeting fragrances that haunt its halls. From phantom footsteps echoing through empty corridors to shadowy figures gliding silently and mysterious touches on the staircase, the inn offers a chilling yet captivating experience. Guests who spend time within its walls may find themselves listening more closely to creaks and whispers, noticing scents that appear without explanation, and sensing that the building carries the echoes of those who walked its floors long before them. In Napa Valley, where the beauty of vineyards meets the mysteries of the past, the Napa River Inn stands as a destination where history and the supernatural intertwine. The Hotel Charlotte in Groveland, California, is a historic establishment whose charm belies a reputation steeped in the paranormal. Built in 1921, this vintage hotel has long served as a hub for travelers visiting the Sierra Nevada foothills, offering rustic accommodations, a welcoming bar, and a glimpse into California's early 20th century architecture. Its wooden floors, antique furnishings, and cozy interiors create an inviting atmosphere for guests. Yet, for those who spend time within its walls, the hotel's allure is intertwined with a sense of the unexplained, where objects move on their own and apparitions appear with chilling regularity. One of the most common phenomena reported at Hotel Charlotte involves radios turning on without warning. Guests have recounted waking in the dead of night to static-filled music or fragmented voices emerging from devices that were switched off just moments before. The sound often appears from radios in rooms that no one has used, or in common areas where electrical malfunctions are impossible. Some visitors have attempted to turn the radios off, only to find them flicking back on minutes later, as if responding to an unseen force. The unpredictability of these occurrences leaves guests both startled and unnerved, a persistent reminder that the hotel is not entirely governed by natural laws. Mirrors throughout the hotel have also been the focus of unusual activity. Guests report sudden fogging or condensation appearing on surfaces, even in rooms where humidity is controlled. In more unsettling cases, names or brief messages seem to form within the mist, often disappearing before they can be fully deciphered. The inscriptions are fleeting yet precise, leaving a lasting impression on those who witness them. Some guests describe seeing their reflection accompanied by an additional, shadowy figure standing behind them, vanishing when they spin around to confront it. These mirror phenomena are widely reported across the hotel, reinforcing the idea that the building holds echoes of its past occupants. The bar area of Hotel Charlotte is another hotspot for spectral activity. Guests and staff have reported the fleeting appearance of an elderly woman, often sitting at the bar for mere moments before dissolving into thin air. Descriptions of her clothing suggest she is from an earlier era, perhaps even contemporary with the hotel's opening in 1921. Witnesses often note a distinct sense of melancholy surrounding her presence, as if she lingers to recall memories long past. Some have attempted to approach her, only to find the figure vanish instantly, leaving behind a faint chill and a lingering sense of sorrow. Bartenders and staff speak of hearing soft footsteps and whispers in the bar when it is otherwise empty, reinforcing the belief that spirits continue to inhabit the hotel's public spaces. The hallways of Hotel Charlotte are equally haunted, with numerous reports of doors opening and closing without cause. Guests have recounted walking down dimly lit corridors only to hear sudden creaks, cold drafts, or the faint murmur of voices, often in languages or phrases that cannot be understood. Shadows appear at the edges of vision, disappearing when confronted, while lights flicker sporadically in certain rooms. Even long-term staff admit that these phenomena are regular occurrences, adding an unsettling dimension to the hotel's historic charm. Guests in specific rooms often experience a combination of auditory and visual activity. Footsteps can be heard, pacing above or below, furniture subtly shifts, and objects occasionally vanish and reappear. Mirrors may fog unexpectedly, revealing cryptic messages, while radios come alive with static or distant music. Visitors frequently report an almost tactile sense of a presence, as if unseen hands brush past or linger in corners. These experiences are rarely hostile, but they are disconcerting enough to leave a lasting impression, creating a blend of fascination and fear. The history of Hotel Charlotte may explain some of these supernatural occurrences. Over the decades, the hotel has witnessed countless guests, parties, and moments of triumph and tragedy. As with many older buildings, experiences filled with intense emotion, joy, sorrow, excitement, grief may leave energetic imprints that manifest in unusual ways. The repeated reports of an elderly woman at the bar radios turning on spontaneously and messages appearing on mirrors suggest the presence of spirits that continue to interact with the living, replaying fragments of their lives long after their deaths. Paranormal investigators have visited Hotel Charlotte on multiple occasions, documenting temperature anomalies, unexplained audio phenomena, and visual apparitions. Cameras and audio equipment have captured fleeting shadows, whispered voices, and sudden bursts of radio static when no electrical interference is present. Many experts note that the hotel exhibits classic signs of a haunted location: residual energy, intelligent haunting, and consistent reports across decades of visitors. These experiences, corroborated by multiple witnesses, lend credence to the hotel's eerie reputation. Despite its haunted reputation, Hotel Charlotte remains a popular destination for travelers seeking both historic charm and a touch of the supernatural. Guests are drawn by the building's vintage architecture, cozy interiors, and its location near the Sierra Nevada foothills, while others are intrigued by the possibility of encountering the unexplained firsthand. Stories of radios turning on by themselves, mirrors fogging with mysterious words, and the ghostly woman at the bar circulate widely, making the hotel a landmark for paranormal enthusiasts and curious visitors alike. The Hotel Charlotte in Groveland, California, is more than a historic inn. It is a place where the past lingers vividly, where radios, mirrors, and spectral figures provide glimpses of lives that have long since passed. From radios activating on their own, to fogged mirrors inscribed with messages, and the fleeting appearance of an elderly woman at the bar, the hotel offers a haunting, yet captivating experience. Guests who stay within its walls are reminded that history is alive in subtle, chilling ways, and that some presences refuse to rest quietly. The Hotel Whitcomb in San Francisco is a building steeped in history, grandeur, and a haunting legacy that reaches far beyond its elegant facade. Originally constructed in 1912, the hotel became a vital hub during one of the city's most turbulent periods, the aftermath of the 1906 earthquake. While technically predating the hotel's completion, the site and its early incarnations were used as emergency shelters and makeshift city hall, housing thousands of displaced residents and administrative operations. With so much death, despair, and intense human activity tied to its walls, the Hotel Whitcomb has since earned a reputation for paranormal phenomena, where the echoes of the past seem to linger in the present. Guests of the hotel frequently report hearing sounds that defy explanation. One of the most common experiences is the unmistakable clacking of typewriters, often coming from empty rooms or corridors. The rhythmic tapping of keys evokes a time when clerks and officials were busy documenting the city's recovery. Yet today, no living fingers operate these machines. Some visitors have approached the rooms only to find them empty, the typewriter silent and untouched when checked moments later. This auditory phenomenon is both eerie and vivid, giving the sensation that history itself is replaying, with spirits of past workers reenacting the duties that once occupied them. The lobby is another area rich with spectral activity. Guests often describe seeing figures dressed in early 20th century period suits, appearing briefly among the polished floors and grand staircases. These apparitions are typically formal in appearance, moving with deliberate purpose, as though attending to administrative tasks or participating in meetings long past. The figures can vanish suddenly, dissolving into the room as if made of smoke, leaving onlookers startled and uncertain whether what they witnessed was real. Some guests report catching glimpses of multiple figures simultaneously, moving silently across the marble floors, their footsteps leaving no trace. Rooms throughout the Hotel Whitcomb carry their own peculiar hauntings. Many visitors recount sudden drops in temperature, inexplicable drafts, or the sensation of being watched while alone. Some claim to have glimpsed shadows at the edges of their vision, or seen objects move subtly without explanation. Furniture may appear slightly shifted, or personal belongings displaced in a way that seems deliberate, yet impossible. These occurrences are often subtle, but their frequency across rooms and floors reinforces the hotel. Its reputation as a site where the past and present intersect in uncanny ways. Staff members have long been aware of the building's spectral activity. Housekeepers report hearing doors creak and close on their own, often in unoccupied rooms. Maintenance personnel have noted that lights flicker in certain areas without electrical cause, and sudden cold spots appear in hallways when no ventilation could account for them. These experiences are particularly pronounced in areas that were historically administrative offices or sleeping quarters during the city's recovery, suggesting that the intense emotional energy from those days continues to resonate within the structure. The history of the Hotel Whitcomb helps explain its paranormal phenomena. Following the 1906 earthquake, the city was thrown into chaos. Thousands of residents lost homes, loved ones, and livelihoods. Makeshift shelters and administrative offices were crowded with people enduring extreme hardship, illness, and death. Many of the hotel's ghostly figures are thought to be echoes of those who lived and worked through that difficult period. Remnants of lives interrupted by tragedy and turmoil. Paranormal researchers argue that locations steeped in intense human activities, especially involving stress, suffering, and emotional extremes, can retain energetic imprints that later manifest as apparitions, sounds, or physical sensations for modern visitors. One particularly chilling aspect of the Hotel Whitcomb's hauntings is the sense of unfinished business. The typewriter sounds, the figures in period attire, and even fleeting glimpses of shadows suggest more than residual echoes. They appear intentional, as though the spirits are replaying moments that were abruptly halted or left unresolved. Guests frequently report feeling a presence nearby, a subtle pressure or unease that seems to follow them through hallways or into rooms, reinforcing the notion that the hotel is alive with unseen activity. Visitors often recount sensory experiences beyond sight and sound. Cold drafts sweep through hallways in ways that defy physics, and faint whispers echo where no one is present. Some guests have reported feeling brushes against their arms or shoulders, moments of tactile contact that vanish as soon as attention is given. These sensations, combined with visual and auditory phenomena, create a multidimensional experience that is both compelling and unnerving. Despite its haunted reputation, the Hotel Whitcomb remains a bustling, functioning hotel, attracting travelers from across the world. Its location in the heart of San Francisco, combined with its historic charm and luxurious amenities, makes it an appealing destination. Yet, for those intrigued by the paranormal, the hotel offers more than comfort. It provides a direct connection to one of the city's most pivotal and tragic moments. Guests often leave with stories of typewriters clacking in empty rooms, shadowy figures in the lobby, and unexplained cold spots, each experience serving as a vivid reminder that history can linger long after its time. The Hotel Whitcomb stands as a testament to San Francisco's resilience, a building where architecture, history, and the supernatural converge, from the clacking of phantom typewriters to figures in period suits fading into the lobby, and shadows that brush against the edges of perception. The hotel offers an encounter with the past that is as haunting as it is unforgettable. Visitors who spend time within its walls are reminded that while the earthquake and its aftermath are long gone, the spirits of those who endured it may never have truly left. And there you have it, 25 of the most haunted hotels in California. Behind the Golden State's beauty and Hollywood glamour lies something darker. Restless spirits who refuse to check out. If you ever find yourself wandering through California and need a place to stay, remember, some hotels come with guests you cannot see. They'll walk the hallways with you, whisper in your ear while you sleep, and sometimes stand at the foot of your bed. But for now, you are safe. You've traveled with me through stories that linger in shadowed corners, and I thank you for your bravery. If you enjoyed this chilling journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and return for more haunted tales. Until next time, my friends, sleep well. And if you hear footsteps in the hallway tonight, remember, some doors are better left closed.